Rob Goshorn's haunted Halloween display under attack.
They came in and just punctured him with a knife. I don't know if it was a razor knife or what kind of knife it was, but slashed him pretty good. Looks like the Halloween bandit did it. He came by and slashed 10 of my air blow-ups.
He posted video Monday, not knowing he wasn't alone. That same night, cameras caught a vandalism spree across Auburn. Surveillance video captures teens storming a porch, smashing pumpkins.
Auburn police say they're investigating multiple vandalism reports, and you may remember something like this happening in Bothell 2 years ago. KIRO 7 TV's Gary Harger reports.
A group of teens slashing, tearing down inflatable decorations just days before Halloween. They, too, hit homes all over that neighborhood, caught on plenty of security cams, but as far as we know, they have never been brought to justice.
Upwards of 80,000 workers in Washington state are affected by the federal government shutdown. Some, but not all, could qualify for unemployment benefits through the state.
I'm Heather Bosch. If you're a furloughed federal worker, you can apply for jobless benefits through Washington state. But the Employment Security Department's Donna Mack adds.
For the folks that are going to work and working without pay, they won't be eligible for unemployment insurance because they're working, even though they're not getting paid.
Those include essential workers like air traffic controllers, federal law enforcement, members of the military, and more. Both furloughed and essential workers will likely receive back pay once the government reopens, but any jobless benefits received would need to be paid back.
It's a little confusing, so the state is holding a webinar explaining not only employment benefits, but healthcare and local resource workers that can have access during the shutdown. We have much more information and a link to the webinar at mynorthwest.com. If you lower the blood alcohol limit for drivers, fewer people will die. That from Washington State Patrol Chief John Patisse during a recent interview on TVW's Inside Olympia. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more on efforts to lower Washington's BAC limit from 0.08 to 0.05.
It is estimated the change could save more than 1,700 lives each year and lower fatality crashes by more than 11%. Currently, Utah is the only state with a 0.05 limit. Chief Patisse says it's time for Washington and the rest of the country to follow Utah's lead.
We're one of the only industrialized nations in the world who really doesn't operate at an 05 level.
According to the Washington Traffic Safety Commission, more than half of all fatal crashes in Washington involve driver impairment by drugs and or alcohol. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
And we're learning the rest of October is going to be wet here in the Pacific Northwest.
University of Washington Atmospheric Sciences Professor Cliff Mass tells the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red 770 AM, atmospheric rivers are headed our way.
So these atmospheric rivers are these plumes of water vapor that come from the subtropics, and we're going to get substantial rain during the next 10 days.
Late this week and into the weekend, British Columbia will get hit the hardest. Here in western Washington, we'll have moderate but steady rain through the end of next week. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Skyline High School's head football coach is back on the job. Peyton Pueller was temporarily relieved of his duties over the weekend pending a district investigation. The Issaquah School District has not shared details, but says after reviewing recent allegations, Pueller has been reinstated. A letter from the coaching staff posted on social media suggests the issue may have stemmed from complaints about playing time. The coaches say, quote, "We are as a staff eager to dive back into the game plan and continue investing in these young men every day." And now for your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic right now. Westbound I-90, the Bullfrog overpass is closed due to an oversized truck traveling in that area. Otherwise, drive times right now, Everett to Seattle about 23 minutes, Linwood to Seattle about 15. And for your forecast on this Wednesday morning, we've got dense fog over our area. It should clear by this afternoon with highs close to 60. Right now, it's about 46 in downtown Seattle. And coming up next, Chris Sullivan with a choke point, some safety tips if you get into an accident on the highway. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is brought to you by Closets by Design Seattle.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto-pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Let's go!
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
We're still contemplating the monkeys in Florida. 6:16 now. So you just got in an accident on the freeway. What should you do?
Sully saw an example of what not to do last week and is here with some tips. Sully?
And it was Friday morning, just after 8:30, prime time for the commute. A small fender bender happened on southbound 405 in Canyon Park. 2 cars were sitting in the left lane. What I saw next blew my mind. The 2 drivers standing between their cars having a long discussion. I'm sure they meant well. They were likely assessing the damage and sharing some information. That's all great. Just don't do it in the middle of the freeway. If your car is drivable, move it to the shoulder. State Trooper Rick Johnson says the rule is simple.
Well, first of all, if your vehicles are drivable, we want you to move it to the shoulder. Or even if they're drivable and you can move off to the next exit, just let us know where you're going. That's the safest thing.
Okay, so what does Trooper Johnson consider drivable? Some of us might have different opinions on that, whether or not your car's like totally blown up or if you're leaking fluids, what?
Well, I think even if you're leaking fluid, I mean, a lot of vehicles will drive a little bit, just to get it off the roadway, and that's what we want people to do. There's some collisions where the vehicle is so heavily damaged, it's not going to move. And then we'll come and we'll push it.
So what to do if you're injured?
If you're injured and don't feel comfortable moving your vehicle, you're not required to.
But stay in your car. Do not get out on the freeway. So here we go. Step one, really, just to assess the people in the car right after the crash, including yourself. How you doing? Are you okay? Is everybody okay? If you're injured, obviously don't make a call. Don't do anything. Call 911. If everyone seems to be okay, move the car to the shoulder and do your inspection there. Stay in the car even if you can't drive it, or even if you can, or try to just get over to the shoulder. Get on have the car protect you from the vehicle, other vehicles. But really, bottom line is stay in your car and then call 911.
We don't want you out of your car in a lane of travel, first of all. Even when you get moved to the shoulder, stay in your car until we get there and we can kind of protect the other vehicles and individuals.
Now, a lot of us are wondering, how are they going to know? What's my insurance adjuster going to know if I move my car to the shoulder? Don't they need to have everything pristine for my investigation?
I think there used to be, or maybe still, a mindset where, we have to leave the cars exactly how they ended up. Otherwise, the investigation won't be correct. Well, that's not right. There's no fleeting evidence in a collision scene.
A trooper will take all the statements, file a report. Detectives don't need some massive investigation for a minor crash.
It's not going to hurt any part of the investigation or liability issues if you move to the shoulder.
In many cases, drivers talk on the shoulder don't even involve police. And in fact, a police report isn't required for every crash. The big takeaway here is never get out of your car.
We don't want people on foot on a freeway outside their vehicles. It's just not safe.
The adrenaline is pumping if you get in a car crash. I don't know if you've ever been in one, but I got sandwiched under the convention center a couple of years back, and it's important at least to be thinking about this, even if that adrenaline is just like clouding everything else. It's not safe on the freeway.
No, and certainly not. During freeway speed cars, just
whizzing by,
and you can get over to the shoulder, and you can exchange everything there, and everything's going to be fine. But get out of the lane of travel if you can, but never get out of your car.
It's crazy. I'm actually just realizing I got in a small fender bender a couple months ago in almost this literal exact spot, southbound 405 in Canyon Park. And we thankfully got over to the shoulder, got out, exchanged information, even on the shoulder there. At that kind of specific part of 405, it's scary. Even just having cars whiz past you as you're on the shoulder. I can't imagine being in the middle of the lanes, just kind of exchanging information. It seems like so dangerous, and every instinct inside of you should say, I probably shouldn't be directly in the highway here.
Yeah, the car is meant to protect you in all ways and shape. And if you go to mynorthwest.com, I put a picture up there from the DOT camera of that, and you'll see they're just kind of standing there in between their cars, just kind of talking.
That feels like a spot of 405 that's kind of ripe for those specific type of fender benders, because the cars in front of you, everyone is braking so quickly when that congestion starts to get up. And so some cars maybe behind you, if they're not paying super good attention, you might not brake in time. And then you have one of those fender benders.
And it's a terrible merging spot. It's one of the worst merging spots in our region because people are trying to get over 3 lanes to get over the express toll lane for the opening there at the top of the hill. That's a dangerous spot. But just a subtle reminder, stay in your car. You don't need to. You're not losing any evidence by moving it. But if you're hurt, call 911 right away. Stay in your car, and then the police will come, and then we'll just go from there. But don't get out of your car.
And a reminder to commuters that Sully is always watching you. He's got the cameras popped up. He'll take your picture and put it on My Northwest. At a drop of a hat.
Yeah, I'm always watching, Charlie. Always watching.
For your KIRO News Radio forecast, we have some dense fog over our area, but we'll have some rain and sun today. Highs will be in the low 60s. Right now, it's about 46 in downtown Seattle. Coming up, G. Scott wraps up Monday's big Mariners loss. That's next. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Apollo Plumbing.
I got a bone to pick with you.
Say what?
You're donating service fees.
To Seattle Children's.
All month.
All the way to $20,000.
Right. That's my problem.
Huh?
Your plumbers cleared my drain last month.
Right.
And already replaced my water heater last summer.
And?
Now I have no reason to call Apollo Plumbing.
And yet you are.
I want to help you help Seattle Children's.
But
I don't need a plumber right now.
Oh, so we can't donate your service fee.
Right.
Got a fix for that.
How?
Visit our website.
Because
we have a donation link there.
Helping Seattle Children's?
Helping them provide patient care, support research, and ensure no child in need is ever turned away.
Love that.
Even if you do call Apollo for help, and we donate your services fee.
Could I donate even more?
Exactly. Benefiting Seattle Children's Hospital.
All this month.
All their service fees.
All the way to $20,000.
Maybe even more with your help.
That's so Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Stacey Rost here from Seattle Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of. And then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, prescriptions. But imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate, noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle, yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target problem areas: waistline, face, neck, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. For your free consultation and $250 off, visit ProSculpt.com for powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men. It's ProSculpt.com.
Upgrade your home comfort and save 20% during the Bob's Heating preseason furnace sale. With great savings plus free financing on heat pumps, water heaters, generators, and more, our award-winning team has what you need to stay cozy this chilly season at a cost you're comfortable with. Voted best in the Pacific Northwest, we're honored to be your dedicated home comfort company since 1957. Call Bob's and save today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends, meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends and explore the lively nightlife scene. The dining district at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at BellevueCollection.com/dining district.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it hard to fight flu, pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit Bucky's.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. Vice President J.D. Vance is meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as a fragile ceasefire deal in Gaza continues to hold. CBS's Holly Williams is following this developing story.
Alon Pincus was an advisor to 4 Israeli foreign ministers. He's also a fierce critic of Prime Minister Netanyahu, who he believes will try to back out of the ceasefire deal.
He knows that if everything stops now and there is progress into the next phases, that almost inevitably means that he will be deemed as the guy who failed to defeat Hamas.
Meanwhile, President Trump could be demanding a payment of as much as $230 million from the government. He says he deserves compensation for the investigations into his past conduct. CBS's Scott McFarlane has more.
If Trump's lawyers do continue to pursue any payments, it would be unprecedented to have a sitting president receive a settlement. It would also likely need sign-off from the top officials in the Department of Justice who previously served as Trump's defense attorneys or represented his allies. In response to ethics concerns, a Department of Justice spokesman told CBS News in any circumstance, all officials at the Department of Justice follow the guidance of career ethics officials.
A recent study warns the Pacific Northwest could face rolling blackouts starting in 2026.
The blackouts are most likely to happen during an extended cold snap in a low water year, according to the study, which was done by regional utilities. Nearly 9,000 megawatts of new capacity are needed by 2030. The current projects will only account for about 3,000. As demand for electricity goes up, some power plants are being retired and new construction is not keeping up. Plus, the population continues to grow, as does the use of electric cars and air conditioning. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle-based Amazon is aiming to replace more than 500,000 jobs with robots.
Amazon executives say automation would allow the company to sell twice as many products within 10 years without adding to its U.S. workforce. And it's envisioning warehouses that are 75% operated by robots. That's according to interviews and documents obtained by the New York Times. Amazon says those documents are incomplete and don't represent the company's overall hiring strategy. Heather Bosch, KIRO News Radio.
Police say a shoplifter pepper sprayed and punched a security guard at a South Seattle grocery store on Monday. They say the man was trying to steal items from the store, and the assault happened when the guard tried to get that stuff back. Bystanders held the guy down until officers arrived. Now for your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. Tacoma to Seattle, about 32 minutes right now. Puyallup to Renton, 21. Everett to Bellevue, about 18 right now. And Marysville to Seattle, 35. For your KIRO News Radio forecast, we've got some dense fog, but partial sunshine later today. Right now, it's about 46 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
Okay, he is coming up at 9 to noon. G. Scott from the G and Ursula Show, also a Reset podcast on mynorthwest.com. G, thank you for being here. It's been kind of therapeutic inside this studio this morning.
Yes. Before I get to that, on the Reset today at 5 o'clock, Richard Sherman sits down at 5 p.m., and it's a doozy. 45 minutes of Richard Sherman.
That man lit up the stadium at T-Mobile Park on Friday night before the game.
He loved it.
Yeah,
he loved
so
it.
good.
Yeah. All right, so
what a season, huh?
What a season. So instead of me coming in with my normal Tasmanian devil-ish type ways like Manda Factor calls it, I'm going to read something from Aaron Carpenter, someone who reached out to me last night. What we just experienced was true baseball. It's a cruel, beautiful, joy-filled, gut-wrenching game. We saw incredible highs during the regular season, and we saw incredible lows. We saw Julio look like a AAA hitter for 2 months and a true superstar for the second half. We got a front row seat to the greatest season by a catcher in the history of baseball, and he's our guy. We saw a pitching staff gutted by injury and still find a path to win the West. We saw more clubhouse champagne celebrations in one season than I have seen in my entire life. On top of that, we saw a 5-game series with an all-time epic win, beating the best pitcher in the AL twice when it mattered most, and took the best offense in the AL to Game 7. We still lost. After incredible starting pitching effort from Kirby, Wu going too strong, Julio, Cal, Naylor all hitting like superstars. Dan brought in Barzardo, hoping for one more tightrope act. And you know what? He threw one down the middle, and when the season was on the line, he knew the situation. However, he's human. Tip your cap is what they tell you, but this is one stings. As someone who listened to Dave Niehaus on the radio in the barn with his dad, I really wanted this one. But that's just baseball. The cruel, beautiful, joy-filled, gut-wrenching game. Thank you, Mariners. What an incredible summer. Remember how it feels and be ready to go next spring.
Let's do it again. It was fun.
I think Aaron Carpenter really just kind of summed it up right there, and that's just baseball.
Logistically, it was such a big day for sports because, by the way, the Seahawks that were on Monday Night Football, what was it like at the ballpark or at the stadium?
I'm glad you asked me that. Well, first, pregame celebrations. We had all kinds of stuff happening at Ticketmaster tailgate, the pregame celebration. Well, we had all of the football fans, 12s right there, all while the screens were going with the game going on with the Mariners. So check this out. So now we go into the stadium. I go down onto the field. I am getting ready to get the game started, where I get the announcement, the time is here, and all that. About 2 minutes before I'm getting ready to go on, Cal Raleigh hits that home run, right? I mean, the stadium lit up. And so usually, if you've been there, I always start the game off by saying 12s in the stands and around the world, the time is here. This time I said 12s in the stand, and Cal Raleigh just knocked the ball out of the world. And man, did the stadium go nuts.
That's been one of the really cool things, is watching all the Seattle teams support each other through this stretch.
It was cool. Like all through the hallways and everything. Everybody was just Mariners. And I got to tell you, when the 3-run home run happened,
I thought it was going to happen. I really did. I started pacing and went, "Oh my gosh, it's really going to happen."
Yeah, I mean, David, how many outs were we away? Was we
8 outs?
8 outs away.
Yeah. That, I think for a lot of Mariners fans, if the game had gone differently, if the Mariners had fallen behind early and it was just sort of like the Blue Jays' onslaught of an offense had been the way that it had been in their previous victories in the series, it might have been an easier pill to swallow. The fact that we were ahead for so long it really gave us all that hope.
Tell Ursula
that was hard.
I literally tell Ursula that I would rather get blown out.
Yeah.
Coming up, we'll have national headlines. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
The Northwest's trusted news source, KIRO News Radio.
Police in Federal Way are investigating what appears to be a car explosion.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is live from the neighborhood.
I can't tell you enough how crazy this scene is here.
Coverage you depend on.
A massive police presence in Kent.
From voices you know and trust.
We have an active fire inside one of these buildings here.
KIRO News Radio. On 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Carpoolers using the SR-167 Express toll lanes now need a Flex Pass set to HOV mode to ride free. That's a change. Having Good to Go always costs less than pay by mail. That is not a change. Learn more at goodtogo167.com.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You can count on trusted local news and information from the Seattle Times, one of the few independent, locally owned news organizations in the country, right here in the Pacific Northwest. Subscribe today and don't miss a beat at seattletimes.com/subscribe.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event, now extended through October 26th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event, extended to October 26th. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
The markets and the economy will change, but you should always know what you can rely on from your financial advisor. I'm John Ramsire with Baird Private Wealth Management in Seattle. With deep planning and investment expertise, Baird's financial advisors have guided individuals and families through changing markets for more than 100 years. And in all that time, our guiding principle has never changed. Our clients come first, always. Discover the Baird difference at rwbaird.com/Seattle.
If your commercial building is over 20,000 square feet, Washington's Clean Buildings Law not only probably applies to you, but goes into effect as soon as July of 2026. Puget Sound Energy's free Clean Buildings Accelerator is here to help. You'll get step-by-step guidance, easy energy tracking tools, ready-to-use plan templates, and a year of ongoing support. It's a simple way to save energy and lower costs. Sign up at psc.com/clean buildings.
CBS News Brief. Vice President J.D. Vance meets with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem in a bid to shore up the peace plan for Gaza and a fragile ceasefire.
Israel, honestly, with our Gulf Arab allies, can play a very positive leadership role in this region, to where, frankly, the United States can care less about the Middle East because our allies in the region are stepping up.
In New York City, protesters descend on Chinatown as masked ICE agents round up street vendors peddling suspected counterfeits. Mohammed Atiyah with the Street Vendor Project.
They were racially profiling vendors just based on their skin color, based on how they look, based on what language they speak.
More furloughed federal government workers line up at food pantries as the government shutdown enters day number 22.
We don't know when it's going to end, and I need to pay my bills.
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
For your KIRO News Radio forecast, dense fog this morning, this afternoon, a mix of sunshine and rain with highs in the low 60s. Right now, it's about 46 in downtown Seattle. Coming up next, New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold stops by to discuss the government shutdown, No Kings protests, and more. That's all next. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Do you need glasses or contacts and you're now at the age where you also need readers? K2 Vision RLE is the permanent solution to eliminate the need for all those. Hey, it's Doctors King and Cobb Kapstein from K2 Vision. Andy, for those nearing age 50 or so, refractive lens exchange can be a great alternative to LASIK.
That's right, Joe. K2 Vision RLE is a terrific, permanent solution for a lifetime of great vision. The older we get, we experience the dysfunction of our natural lens, which affects both distance vision and requires the use of reading glasses. Plus, after K2 Vision RLE, you will never develop a cataract.
And like LASIK, K2 Vision RLE is quick and painless. The question is, which procedure is right for you?
After replacing more than 100,000 failing lenses, we have the experience to tell you if it's your right time for RLE.
Schedule your free Zoom consultation with us about K2 Vision RLE to get your eyes seeing young again, permanently.
Go to K2VisionRLE.com, K2VisionRLE.com.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto-pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
News matters. Experience counts. You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
We call up New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold to talk about the big national news of the week.
David, good morning. Let's start with the big government shutdown. Now a full 3 weeks in with no end in sight. Who's going to blink?
It's really hard to know. I mean, the Democrats feel like they are, for the first time, getting getting the better of a political battle with Trump, that they feel like the public opinion is on their side. So I don't see them blinking anytime soon. Also, what they've asked for, a vote to extend these certain Obamacare subsidies is something they're unlikely to get. So they're, the thing that they've asked for is not something they can get anytime soon. And Trump seems to be just sort of ignoring the usual rules of a government shutdown and doing what he wants. He's still paying the people he wants to pay. He's doing the things he wants to do. It doesn't really feel like he's that constrained by the government being shut down. So this is the sort of least catastrophic, the least sort of nervous government shutdown I've ever seen. Everybody's sort of just going on like this is business as usual.
Well, that's nice for them to say, but there are real people without paychecks right now. And I'm just reading online, people freaking out about what's about to happen if they're not getting paid. And I got to tell you, I remember the Democrats saying time and time again in previous shutdowns, let's just have a clean continuing resolution and let's resolve this with debate. We're not hearing that now, and people are going to suffer.
That is right. A lot of people are going to start suffering when their paychecks stop coming in. And then, people who don't work for the government are going to suffer when they can't get into national parks. If the air traffic controllers start calling out sick, there will start to be consequences that people will feel, and so then politicians will feel. So I don't think this will last forever, but you're right that there is a real sort of blithe mood in Washington on both sides as people are, real people are really affected by this.
Meanwhile, millions of people around the country gathered and marched over the weekend, taking part in the No Kings demonstrations. So was their message heard?
That's a great question. Trump, heard it and posted some sort of taunting memes about it. So certainly he knows about it. And I think they are worried about kind of a mass movement. That had something that was there from day one in Trump 1 and had been missing in Trump 2. The Democrats, though, it's really unclear to me if they know what they're doing, if they know how to take this momentum, this unhappiness with Trump, and turn it into something that's for them. They've really struggled to come up with a coherent message that's not just anti-Trump. So I don't know. They definitely heard it, but, are they trying to turn it into some bigger momentum? I don't know.
Did you ever think there'd be a day where you were discussing the merits of whether it was appropriate for the President of the United States to have an AI video of himself flying a fighter jet and dumping poop on protesters?
No, I never did. I mean, and I guess he sort of proved their point. That he thinks he is a king. It seemed like he thought he was, and he's responding with this sort of taunting, I don't care kind of message. So I think they probably couldn't have been the protesters couldn't have been any happier with that reaction.
I just have to move along after that. Let's talk about George Santos. Disgraced former Republican Congressman George Santos had his sentence of wire fraud and aggravated identity theft commuted by President Trump. Can you explain again exactly what Santos was found guilty of?
A lot of things. Santos basically had used his congressional campaign, which he won, as sort of a piggy bank, and broke all kinds of campaign finance laws about who could donate or how much they could donate. He spent spent money on, I believe, on things that benefited him. He did all kinds of things. He broke, in a very brazen way, broke the rules of campaign finance and was convicted for it. And then I guess he got put in solitary confinement and wrote some stories in the New York Post about how bad that was. Trump read them and commuted him. But Trump just really enjoys this power of, being able to spring people from jail and create loyalists. And I think he just doesn't like the idea of Republicans, even disgraced Republicans, being in jail.
Well, speaking of, Drudge this morning is linking to a TMZ article saying the president is at least considering this week whether or not to pardon or commute Diddy in his trial. What does that say about the state of affairs right now?
I think Trump loves that this is one power the president has that's completely unfettered. You can pardon or commute whoever you want, and he uses it to pardon or commute people who say nice things about him. And that shows you something about sort of what he thinks is, important about the law. That the law doesn't really matter. What you did doesn't matter if, you're nice to President Trump. And I think he loves celebrities. And so the idea that he'd get a celebrity to like him by pardoning him, I'm not surprised. That shows you kind of the disregard he has for the legal system and also the smallness of what he thinks about all the time.
And lastly, David, can we talk about what's going on at the White House in terms of construction? We're seeing some heavy equipment out there. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so Trump wants to build a giant ballroom. I mean, basically turning the White House, making the White House look like Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago, when he bought it, one of the first things he did was build a giant freestanding ballroom. So he's building a giant ballroom at the White House, and he had said that it wouldn't affect the existing White House, that it would be separate and nearby but not touching. And that was not true. He is now demolishing a huge part of the East Wing, which is usually where the First Lady's offices are. Not the main office complex of the White House, but definitely a part of the White House offices, and certainly a part of the White House that you've seen. It's just really jarring to see construction equipment, backhoes ripping down pieces of the White House. But that's what they're doing to make room for this giant ballroom.
David, we really appreciate your time every Tuesday. Thank you so much. Do you happen to have a number of a good therapist? We're kind of hurting in Seattle this morning.
I feel so sorry for all y'all. I was rooting for the Mariners to the end. I'm very sorry, but they got a great team for next year.
Amazing. It was a great season. New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For your KIRO News Radio forecast, dense fog this morning, this afternoon, a mix of sunshine with some rain. Highs will be in the low 60s. Right now, it's about 46 in downtown Seattle. Coming up, more of the day's top stories here on Seattle's Morning News. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
The John Curley Show.
And the reason I love autumn the most, and I guess that's why I love to grow pumpkins.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
Is because it's nature telling you summer is over and soon it will be dark and it will be cold and there will be no light. And just before, nature says, here's a prize for you because we know you're going to go into hibernation. So here's orange and yellow and fiery colors everywhere. So this is our final gift to you.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube.
What if you had the smartest Wi-Fi? If you did, it'd be Xfinity, of course. And it'd come with their best state-of-the-art equipment. It would boost speeds to the devices that needed them most, prioritizing your most important connections, whether you were streaming, gaming, or gaming while pretending to work. And it would let you stream 4. That's right, 4 games on one screen. It would even power your mobile connection so you could bring faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds with you where you use it most. It would be proactive and fix problems before you knew you had them. Impressive, right? And it would have security features that protect you from threats at home and online. Kinda like a force field for your life. If you had the smartest Wi-Fi, well, everything would work together seamlessly to keep you connected, no matter what. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts, or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
145 over 92.
180 over 111.
182 over 100. And I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest. And then a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life.
A lot of people don't understand, including myself, I didn't, now I do, the impact of having a stroke.
My memory is shot.
When I woke up, I couldn't speak.
Lowering your high blood pressure could save you from a heart attack or stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
It's a new life, but I'm going to make it better. I'm coming back. Ask your doctor, check your blood pressure.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Stacey Rost here from Seattle Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of. And then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, prescriptions. But imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate, noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle, yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target problem areas: waistline, face, neck, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. For your free consultation and $250 off, visit ProSculpt.com for powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men. It's ProSculpt.com.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
What burning questions do you have? You can help drive the conversation by going to mynorthwest.com or text Choke Points to 888-973-5476.
Tuesdays and Thursdays on Seattle's Morning News.
Chris Domine is a husband and a father. Chris is an athlete. Chris is even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris was facing a very different story because his kidneys were failing.
Basically, the doctor said, if you don't get a kidney transplant and if you don't do dialysis, you are going to die.
Fortunately, Chris received a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor.
You know, your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
More than 100 million people in America are registered organ, eye, and tissue donors. People of every age and ethnicity, because they believe it's the right thing to do. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Lori here from Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation. I'm here with good news. Protecting your home has never been easier, thanks to our flexible financing options that can fit any budget. With Guardian's acclaimed services, you can upgrade or repair your roof, gutters, attic insulation, and even prevent moss without straining your wallet. Plus, it's all backed by our Guardian Guarantee. Why wait? Start guarding your home today. Call to hear about our flexible financing options or visit guardianroofing.com.
Crooked teeth may embarrass kids whose families can't afford braces, and trying to fix their teeth themselves can make things worse. Luckily, there's Donated Orthodontic Services, a program from the American Association of Orthodontists. For children and teens who qualify and are matched with a volunteer orthodontist, treatment can be life-changing. and help them smile with confidence. Learn more at aaoinfo.org.
Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings, departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Eggland's Best.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin with the skyrocketing cost of health care as Democrats and Republicans in Congress remain at odds over expiring subsidies that have ushered the government shutdown into its 22nd day. Correspondent Michael Wallace has new numbers.
The nonprofit KFF surveyed 1,800 employers and found the cost of their family health insurance plans rose 6% this year to $27,000. Insurers blame rising rates of illnesses like cancer in the working age population. More employers are passing the burden on to their employees in the form of higher deductibles and co-payments.
As for the shutdown, more furloughed federal workers like Melissa Westbrook are heading to food pantries to make ends meet.
We don't know when it's going to end, and I need to pay my bills.
The Senate will hold a 12th vote on a bill to end the stalemate today. Majority Leader John Thune.
We're hopeful that this will be the week when we break out of this and the Democrats come to their senses.
The Senate is expected to vote tomorrow on a GOP bill that could pay some federal employees who are working during the shutdown, including active duty military and other essential employees. Pomp and circumstance in Jerusalem for the visit of a top U.S. official.
Standing next to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Vice President J.D. Vance said the next stage of the ceasefire will be challenging.
We have a very, very tough task ahead of us, which is to disarm Hamas but rebuild Gaza.
The U.S. brokered ceasefire signed earlier this month has faced challenges as Israel and Hamas have each accused the other of violating it. Linda Gradstein for CBS News, Jerusalem.
Tense face-offs with ICE agents on both coasts. In New York City, it began when masked officers started a roundup operation. CBS's Tom Hansen is there.
Agents descended on Canal Street in Chinatown, targeting street vendors allegedly selling designer knockoffs. As protesters made their way to the Federal Plaza to demand the release of ICE detainees, more agents arrived, armed in combat gear and a military vehicle.
TikTok streamer has a court appearance in L.A. a day after he and a U.S. Marshal were wounded by a bullet that ricocheted from an ICE agent. Tourists in Paris are back at the Louvre 3 days after thieves made off with more than $100 million worth of the French crown jewels.
Astonishing that they were able to do something like that in such a short amount of time with no one really noticing what was going on.
Right.
So it really was like an ultimate heist in the middle of the day.
Yeah, it almost sounded like a movie.
Just like a movie.
Still no arrests, still no sign of those priceless gems. This is CBS News.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
It's 6:03. Let's check in with Chris Sullivan.
And we are already dealing with a very busy drive coming up from the south end. We've got a crash northbound I-5 right after 72nd, getting into South Tacoma, where the two left lanes have been blocked for a while now. We're backed up all the way to 512, and we've got about an hour drive already from Olympia to Tacoma. That's a 30-minute delay. I am hearing that a tow is on its way, but this might take a little while. Then we've also got a crash on northbound 5 a little bit further up the 5 Hill, actually. So we're losing some time there. Not sure which lane that one is in, but I'll have more for you in 10 minutes. Then Federal Way to Seattle's running right around 40 minutes. Northbound 167 has the slowing through Pacific and in Auburn and at the north end. Already over 50 minutes to make that drive up to Renton. Renton to Bellevue, though, is under 20. Coming down from the north end, not bad yet. 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. And we do have the closure of westbound I-90 in the Cle Elum area. We're going to have much more of that coming up in the newscast. This report brought to you by the Tacoma Holiday Festival, presented by Puyallup Chocolates, October 23rd through 26th at the Tacoma Dome. Buy your tickets at holidaygift.shows.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 6:04, and here we go again. It's a mess on I-90 near Cle Elum right now. All westbound lanes are jammed up for miles after a truck hauling an oversized load hit an overpass.
This is the third bridge strike in just the last couple of months, causing another major headache for drivers. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here live with the latest.
Yeah, as the state trooper just told me a moment ago, this is really bad. If you're looking at our YouTube feed right now, you're going to see a photo of the damage. I know we've got it up on social too. Sully's got a photo up on his feed. This is Bullfrog Overpass we're talking about, milepost 80 near Cle Elum. So right before the way station there heading west, you can see this trucker hit the underside of the overpass, just like smack dab in the middle. There's concrete all over the pavement and dozens of pieces of rebar just dangling down. You can't just cut those things off. I mean, this is major damage. Here's State Trooper Jeremy Weber.
There was a truck driver that had an oversized load, and apparently he was supposed to take that exit 80 to go around the bridge and didn't. Then, of course, struck the bridge and caused massive damage.
So there is a detour there right now. Drivers are being directed off the ramp and then back onto I-90 on the other side. However, listen to this.
That whole Cle Elum area is just going to be a real busy area. So folks coming over to our side of the mountains might even want to consider going and taking Stevens Pass if that's a possibility. Otherwise, they're going to be slowed way down.
I mean, they're saying go to Stevens Pass. I mean, that's nuts. This is the third overpass or bridge hit by a trucker in recent months. In September, you remember a 70-year-old driver was cited after damaging the 167 bridge near Pacific. Repairs won't be completed there until sometime next year, according to WSDOT. In August, a trucker hit the nearby White River Bridge on State Route 410. That bridge just reopened. On this latest wreck on I-90, again, WSP tells me drivers with oversized loads, they're supposed to know to go up and around Bullfrog Overpass. You can't go underneath it. They're still trying to understand why this driver didn't do that. Trooper Weber tells me there are no signs of impaired driving. We'll keep you posted.
Thank you, Luke. 6:06 now. The so-called Spokane South Hill rapist is no longer living in Auburn.
The mayor says Kevin Coe was relocated, as we hear from KIRO 7 TV's Dee Dee Sun.
The mayor made this announcement, saying the city worked with multiple agencies to get Kevin Coe out of the city. The mayor shared her, quote, deep frustration last week over how this whole situation was handled, and now Coe will be once again living in Federal Way, according to the mayor.
Coe's new residence is about a block away from an elementary school. The mayor of Federal Way says he's confident Coe, who is now 78 years old, does not pose a serious public safety risk.
Halloween spirit turned sour in Auburn as vandals targeted festive displays. KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomibel with details.
Rob Goshorn's haunted Halloween display under attack.
They came in and just punctured them with a knife. I don't know if it was a razor knife or what kind of knife it was, but slashed them pretty good. Looks like the Halloween bandit did it. He came by and slashed 10 of my air blow-ups.
He posted video Monday, not knowing he wasn't alone. That same night, cameras caught a vandalism spree across Auburn. Surveillance video captures teens storming a porch, smashing pumpkins.
Auburn police say they are investigating multiple vandalism reports, including from the Harger family.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's morning news on KIRO News Radio.
That's really upsetting. I'm sorry that happened to your neighborhood.
Yeah, but it's nuts. I mean, this one guy was hit. That's a well-known Halloween house. But we're talking dozens and dozens and dozens of homes that were hit very quickly. And you got adults who were arrested for doing this. So, yeah, that's... That is something, but at least a little tape fix it right up.
All right. It is Wednesday, October 22nd.
I'm Charlie Harger. You are Manda Factor. Sully is here. Luke was showing the picture of that overpass. That's not repairable.
I'm no engineer.
I'm not an engineer. But when you have that many pieces of rebar and that many girders actually hit...
Yeah. There's no way. I'm just okay. I'm no engineer. You're right, but come on, man. That is not repairable.
Sure doesn't look like it.
Yeah, Bullfrog, that overpass at Bullfrog might not survive.
Yeah, I know. I'll just say it. And if it is repairable and is back tomorrow, just blame me.
Yeah, well, good news is there are plenty of there aren't a lot of alternates to get over the freeway there. There are a couple of underpasses there through the Cle Elum area. But yeah, that's going to cause big time problems for those folks who live there.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on it. This is our Seattle's Morning News, sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control.
And coming up this hour of the show, an update on the war between Russia and Ukraine. President Trump was supposed to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. That was canceled. We're going to chat about this with CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland.
We'll also speak with CBS Justice correspondent Scott McFarland with the latest on the man involved in a January 6th insurrection who is now accused of making death threats against House Majority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
It's 6:09. A 37-year-old man was shot and killed on a popular South Seattle walking trail in broad daylight Monday. We get the update from KIRO Newsradio's James Lynch.
The shooting happened on the Mountain to Sound Trail near Gulf Drive South and South Charles Street. Passers-by found the man down with a gunshot to the head just before 5 p.m. SPD Detective Eric Munoz says investigators are looking for witnesses.
If they heard any gunshots, if they heard any suspicious activity, call either 911 or that violent crimes tip line, 206-233-5000.
So far, police have no motive for the shooting and no suspect. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Everett's no sit, no lie law is back up for debate. The City Council is voting tonight on whether to renew it. It bans sitting or lying down in parts of downtown and giving out food or supplies without a permit. City leaders say it's a tool to help homeless people get services, but some nonprofits and unhoused residents say it's unfair and harmful. Business owners have pushed for it, hoping to keep sidewalks open and safe.
If you're a federal worker who's been sent home without pay during the government shutdown, you can apply for jobless benefits through the state. But if you're considered an essential worker, like an air traffic controller or a member of the military, take note.
For the folks that are going to work and working without pay, they won't be eligible for unemployment insurance because they're working, even though they're not getting paid.
Donna Mack with the Employment Security Department says there are other resources available. The state is holding a webinar tomorrow with all kinds of information to help those affected by the shutdown. We have a link on our website, mynorthwest.com.
It's 6:11 now, and Seattle sportscaster Aaron Levine about to see a lifelong dream come true.
This is Jeopardy!
The Fox 13 Seattle sports director says he'll be a contestant on Jeopardy Monday night. He shared on social media the show will air at 10:30 in the evening on Como TV because of Monday Night Football. It'll also be on Peacock and Hulu. He thanked Fox 13 for letting him take part, even though it's on a rival station. Levine says it was an experience he'll never forget and joked timing that buzzer is tough. The Jeopardy host, Ken Jennings, is also from the Seattle area, and this isn't Levine's first game show. He once appeared on The Price is Right when he was 18.
Kidding. I didn't know that. Good for him. Good luck. Just ahead of our forecast, I can tell you that it's going to get really wet around here soon.
University of Washington Atmospheric Sciences Professor Cliff Mass tells the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red 770 AM, atmospheric rivers are headed our way.
So these atmospheric rivers are these plumes of water vapor that come from the subtropics, and we're going to get substantial rain during the next 10 days.
Late this week and into the weekend, British Columbia will get hit the hardest. Here in western Washington, we'll have moderate but steady rain through the end of next week. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
And let's get a look at the forecast. It's brought to us by State Roofing and Exteriors. I don't know about you guys, but pine needles in my backyard are having a field day right now with all this wind and breezes. We're looking for a high of 63 today, but it will be rainy at times and breezy. Showers on Thursday with clouds most of the day. On Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll get drenched. Right now in Seattle, we have clouds, and it is 45.
It was really foggy on my drive in, too.
Yeah. Turn off those automatic high beams.
Yes. 6:13. Let's check traffic. We head right to Chris Sullivan.
How about turn off those automatic high beams all the time?
Oh, I like being able to see.
No, I don't like being blinded from behind or from
they're automatic, Sully. At least on my car, they turn off.
Yeah, well, in most cases, I'm seeing 4 lights in my I'm like, and then I got to flick the thing. Like, come on.
No, that's just called high beams.
What's
it doesn't
happening
matter.
on the roads right now?
Well, right now I'm trying to distract you guys from the 30-minute delay on northbound I-5 getting into Tacoma because of this crash that continues to block the two left lanes right around just north of 72nd. We're backed up all the way to 512. It's an hour trip from Olympia to Tacoma. I'm still searching around the 5 curve up toward Porter Way to find this crash. I haven't found it yet, but it's definitely being reported, and I'm seeing a backup there big time. I could use some help from my KIRO drivers to let me know what you're seeing there. Give yourself an extra 5 minutes to get up through Fife, and then Federal Way to Seattle's running a little over 40 minutes. 55 minutes from Puyallup to Renton with the breaks in the normal locations. And then Renton to Bellevue starting to feel a little bit of a slow there. Give yourself about 22 minutes. Coming down out of the north end, not bad yet. About 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. And not much going on near the I-90 westbound closure there coming out of Cleellum. I'm watching that one closely. But again, there is a detour in place, and the city's going to feel the brunt of that if you're heading over there. This report brought to you by D.R. Horton. The National Red Tag Sales event has been extended through October 26th. Visit a D.R. Horton community today. drhorton.com, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Sully, stand by, because a legendary rock band is heading to Seattle. Katrina is here with the story.
Okay, Sully, get ready for Rush. So it's part of the band's 50-something reunion tour. Fans can catch Rush at Climate Pledge Arena next year on October 10th. It celebrates, obviously, the 5 decades of their iconic music. Tickets go on sale Friday. So, Sully, are you into it?
I would be, but without Neil, without Neil, he was so important to that. I mean, not all 3 of them are great.
I love
but
that band.
that was they're so good. But I wish I'd seen him with them performing with him. But I might go because I love Rush.
It's a Saturday night. You should go.
Ooh, all right.
Okay. Thanks, Katrina.
Next
it's
year,
6:16.
Bringing you Seattle's morning news since 1974. This is KIRO News Radio.
An overnight strike in Kyiv as Russia launches a new assault on Ukraine. A summit between Russian President Vladimir Putin and President Trump is being delayed. What does it all mean for the future of the conflict between these two nations?
Let's call up CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland. Good morning, Jeff. And there was that announcement from the White House last week that the President and Putin were going to be meeting in Budapest. What's going on here?
Well, now it seems, Charlie, that particular meeting has been postponed and perhaps postponed indefinitely. Apparently, some preliminary talks to try to begin to build a foundation for the President and Putin to meet between Secretary of State Rubio and Foreign Minister Lavrov of the Russian Federation. That fell through. And so now the President's saying it doesn't seem to him that either side is prepared to bring this war to a close or to a ceasefire. Now, prior to that announcement of a Budapest meeting, the President was talking about providing Tomahawk cruise missiles to Ukraine. Zelensky would visit the White House last Friday. But prior to that particular visit, of course, the President spoke to Putin on the phone. This meeting in Budapest came up, and the President, if you will, flip-flopped and suddenly said, well, I'm going to wait until I've talked to Putin, and I think I can get this to a closure, and we'll go to Budapest. And now, of course, all that has fallen apart.
Has the Kremlin responded to the delay?
Yeah, they've said, well, we've got to address what the Kremlin has said over and over. And I have to say they've been very consistent, and it's kind of surprised me that the administration doesn't realize that Putin doesn't want an agreement. Putin wants to win the war. And they keep talking about we've got to address the root causes of the war. And the root causes of the war for them is NATO expansion, not just Ukraine and NATO, but NATO expansion writ large. Root causes the Zelensky government. They have to go away. Root causes is the Donbass region of Ukraine they claim is Russian. And so when all those things are rectified, to include, by the way, even changing the official language of Ukraine to Russian, when all those things are concluded, Mr. Putin has said he's willing to negotiate. Well, that's basically saying, when you surrender, I'll negotiate with you.
The president has had multiple different opinions on how we should resolve the war in Ukraine. One day he'll say that the Ukrainian boundaries from the early 2010s, Ukraine should be able to have that. The next day he's saying let the Russians have Donbass and have the current boundaries recognized. Is this something to be expected, Jeff, that we're going to get different ideas every day?
No, not at all. At least in my life of working in diplomacy in the Pentagon and working diplomacy in the White House, you might change particular strategies, but you would do that privately. You wouldn't do that publicly. And I think Mr. Putin basically believes that if he can speak to Trump and he can flatter with Mr. Trump, frankly, and talk about the great opportunities if the United States and Russia have improved relations in terms of economics and rare earth minerals and oil and all kinds of things, that Mr. Trump will basically concede and give in, and Mr. Trump has consistently done that. Don't forget, Trump went to Alaska and said that if the Russians did not agree to a ceasefire, there would be severe consequences. Well, he went to Alaska, he met Putin, there was no ceasefire, and we still haven't had any severe consequences. In the United States Senate at this moment, there's a bipartisan bill signed by 85 senators. Goodness, Charlie, we couldn't get any 85 senators to agree on what time it is. But they all have endorsed a bill to apply much significantly greater sanctions on the Russians. But right now, the majority leader, Mr. Toon, will not bring that to the floor for a vote until the president tells him to do so.
Talking with CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland. Jeff, what's your view on the status of the war itself right now? The damage in Kyiv and the surrounding areas is pretty substantial.
It is pretty substantial, man. There's no doubt about it. To me, it's like watching the last couple rounds of Rocky. These two guys are beating up on each other. The Russians are somewhat, I would argue, indiscriminately striking Ukrainian cities, trying to interrupt the energy supplies in cities, trying to bring the Ukrainians to a very cold winter and, if you will, break their willpower. In return, the Ukrainians are striking a lot of oil refineries and the like across Russia. And there is gas rationing right now in Moscow. So in terms of how that affects the societies, will tell a lot about the future of the war. On the battlefield, however, things are pretty static. You know, I was in London meeting with a bunch of people a few days ago, and while I was there, the chief of the general staff, the commanding general of the British forces, said, you know, if a snail crossed the Russian border into Ukraine in February of 2022, and it moved at the pace of a snail, that snail would now be in Poland. But the Russians right now control about 15 to 20% of Ukraine, and that's it. Very, very marginal gains on the battlefield at a rate of tremendous casualties, well over 1 million Russian casualties since this war began.
And speaking of the battlefield and the way this war is fought, for a casual listener, Jeff, can you really explain that with the drone warfare now, this is revolutionizing how war fighting will be fought. We are not going to have a war, say, like the war on terror like we did 20 years ago against Iraq. Things are going to change significantly based on what's happening here in Ukraine.
Yeah, when I commanded a battalion in the Gulf War, it was war of maneuver, large maneuvering of armored forces supported by artillery, close air support. Same for the invasion of Iraq back in 2003. Insurgency, counterterrorism, a whole different type of warfare. That's really, in a way, how this war began in 2022 by Russia invading with large-scale formations. But very quickly that changed because of intense artillery fire, and that became the weapon of choice about 2023. And then you're right, Charlie, in the last couple of years, this now has transitioned into a very static battlefield based on the drone, because the drone makes the battlefield entirely transparent. If you move, you can be seen. If you can be seen, you can be hit, and you die. It's just that simple. So trying to mass a formation like we did when I commanded and maneuver that large force is an open invitation to get crushed by literally hundreds of drones. Look at it this way. In July of 2024, Russia fired a total of about 600 drones in the month of July. In 2025, they fired 6,000 drones at Ukraine in one single month.
Jeff, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. As always, CBS military analyst Jeff McCausland.
6:23 now. Let's head over to Sully, who has his eyes on traffic for us.
And I'm keeping them peeled down in the Tacoma area through the fog, because it is pretty foggy across the board today. But we have this crash involving a couple of different cars blocking northbound I-5 right there as you get north of 72nd. The two left lanes remain blocked, and we're backed up to 512. It's a 30-minute delay just through that little area right there. It is a hour drive to make it into the Tacoma area, and it's all just right there. Also, still looking for this crash on northbound I-5 in the Fife area. We might actually have a second one now before you get to Fife. The one a little up the hill is off to the shoulder, according to my drivers, but we're backed up through the Puyallup River Bridge heading north, so plan on some delays there. It's going to take you about 25 minutes, maybe a little more, to go from Tacoma to the Federal Way area, and then Federal Way to Seattle's running around 45 minutes. 55 minutes to an hour northbound 167 as we continue to see the brake lights through Pacific and in Auburn and at the north end. Rented to Bellevue 25, 26 now as the S-curves are very active, but by the time you're through the merge at Sunset, it gets a lot better heading north. Coming down from the north end, there are some brake lights right around the Everett Mall, and then certainly away from Linwood on 5 and 405. 405 is a little worse. 45 minutes from Everett to Bellevue, about 43 from Everett to Seattle. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube, click subscribe, and get fresh video content daily.
We're starting the morning with some pretty thick fog in spots. Otherwise, we'll be partly cloudy for the morning hours. Then here come the showers. Later today, 63. Showers and sunbreaks tomorrow and 63. And then for Friday and Saturday, really wet. Maybe a half inch of rain on Friday, a quarter inch on Saturday, with highs Saturday only around 53. It's 47 in Seattle right now.
And coming up, we'll have KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reporting on the new way ICE officers are using to identify people in Washington.
Also, the opening bell report here on Seattle's Morning News.
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football.
Touchdown Seahawks! Steve Rabel made the catch.
Number 96, Cortez Kennedy. He was as wide as he was tall, and he was in the backfield, terrorizing quarterbacks and throwing them to the ground, and wrapping up running backs and throwing them to the ground before they knew what hit them. Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Cancer impacts us all, and my family is no different. Mario Bailey here, former Washington Husky wide receiver. I learned firsthand what it's like to have family with the disease after my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. As devastating as cancer is, there is hope because the Cancer Vaccine Institute at UW-Medicine is developing vaccines to treat and prevent the deadliest cancers. Patients undergoing these treatments have seen remarkable results with extended remissions and improved quality of life. And I'm thrilled to say patients who received cancer vaccines over 20 years ago are still alive today. Donations to this institute are crucial in advancing this life-saving work. They fund vital research and clinical trials, ensuring that more lives are touched by hope and healing. I'm excited to share that Safeway is making it easy to donate on your next trip to get groceries. Please join me. Simply stop by any Safeway store, donate, and help ignite the immune system to end cancer. Learn more at uwcvi.org.
Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision.
If you're over 50 and you've been diagnosed with a cataract, or your vision is changing as you're developing an early cataract, you could be a perfect candidate for K2 Vision RLE.
It's inevitable. At some point, typically in your 60s or 70s, you'll have a dysfunctional lens that eventually becomes a cataract. To restore your vision, you will someday need a procedure such as refractive lens exchange.
The question is, are you done with glasses? Do you want to spend your good, active years hassling with changing prescriptions and needing readers?
K2 Vision RLE can give you great vision now, permanently, and you'll never develop that cataract. The procedure is quick and painless, and our state-of-the-art custom lens technologies give highly predictable outcomes.
K2 Vision surgeons have performed nearly 100,000 procedures. We know when RLE is right for you.
Find out. Schedule a free Zoom consultation at k2visionrle.com.
K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
You're miracle workers.
Don't know about that.
My drain was clogged.
Right.
You came in a jiffy.
And got right to work.
Now it's clear.
It's what we do.
Like I said, you're miracle workers.
Actually, we're plumbers.
Apollo plumbers.
You want to see some real miracle workers?
Huh?
Just take a look at Seattle Children's.
Sure.
They're all hope, care, and cure.
All true.
And together, we can help them.
How so?
Your service fee?
Yeah?
Apollo Plumbing is donating it.
To benefit Seattle Children's Hospital.
We're donating all our service fees.
All month.
To help Seattle Children's provide outstanding care and support research.
And ensure no child in need is ever turned away.
That's the goal.
Gotta love that.
Gotta love the work they do at Seattle Children's.
So, I call, you come.
Apollo donates your service fee. All our service fees.
All month?
All the way to $20,000.
That's so Apollo Plumbing.
Always ready, right now.
You really are miracle workers.
Aren't we all?
Maybe so.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 6:30. There are growing concerns about how federal immigration agents may be getting access to local license plate data collected by police departments across Washington.
Joining us with more is KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Yeah, this report is going to be pretty explosive today. This is according to a brand new report from the University of Washington's Center for Human Rights. It claims several police departments have shared data from their flock safety license plate readers networks with U.S. Border Patrol and other federal agencies. The implication here is that local law enforcement in our state may have been helping federal agents track down illegal immigrants, and or federal agents have been using technology to get backdoor access to camera data. The report says at least 8 local agencies, including Benton County, the police department in Arlington, Auburn, Lakewood, Richland, Sunnyside, Wenatchee, and Yakima, all allowed direct access to their database at some point this year. Researchers claim they also found that the U.S. Border Patrol went into the camera networks of at least 10 other police departments in our state that never gave them permission. The largest of those departments was Renton from May through August. And in some cases, local agencies ran searches on behalf of ICE and Border Patrol, and out-of-state law enforcement agencies reportedly made side door searches also of Washington's data. The thing is, state law prohibits local agencies from helping enforce federal immigration laws. Researchers say these findings may test how well that rule is being followed. One report says that a sheriff's department in Texas searched Washington flock data to locate a woman in connection with Texas's abortion ban. It also raises new questions about how transparent flock technology is and whether police can fully control what and who sees that data. Now, yesterday, we reported on the city of Auburn's sharing of flock data. The city and the mayor, Nancy Backus, said they shared some data through a national database, but they didn't know what was happening. However, these researchers now claim Auburn shared data one-on-one, openly, with Border Patrol agents. We'll have more on this throughout the morning and more on mynorthwest.com.
Luke, thank you. It's 6:32. A Good Samaritan who was stabbed in the neck is still recovering after offering a family with 7 children a ride.
KIRO 7 TV's Allison Amoy reports the couple made their first court appearance yesterday.
Kitsap County prosecutors detailed the moments deputies found 30-year-old Nicholas Well and his 29-year-old wife, Rosario Lopez Castro, passed out in a stolen vehicle with the front seat covered in blood and their 7 children, ages 6 months to 9 years old, inside.
2 of them are just sitting on their parents' laps. The other 5 are crammed in the back seat. There's no car seats. The children were properly clothed. Some of them were just in diapers, didn't have shoes on.
He was on his DoorDash route, and he just did a nice thing by offering them a ride. Then shortly after, just down the road in Sequim, investigators say the stabbing happened.
We're just now learning Seattle mayoral candidate Katie Wilson was arrested during a protest in 2013. Jason Rance on Seattle Red 770 reports Wilson was among 13 demonstrators arrested for disorderly conduct during an anti-Walmart labor protest in Renton. Police say she blocked traffic, complied with officers, and was released at the scene. Her campaign says it was peaceful civil disobedience organized by UFCW 21.
A foggy morning commute. Let's check in with Chris Sullivan with traffic.
And we've already had a couple people running into each other. It sounds like this was a pretty serious crash on northbound I-5 that we're still dealing with coming up out of the Lakewood area, getting into Tacoma. Right after 72nd, we have the 2 left lanes blocked and a 3-mile backup to deal with. We've got ourselves about an hour drive from Olympia into Tacoma. That's 30 minutes slower than it should be. So plan on big time delays there. And there's also heavy braking through the Fife area as well, and even getting into Fife through the fog. We had an earlier crash near Porter Way. You're going to lose a couple of minutes through Tacoma, but then you'll pick it back up because Federal Way to Seattle's actually not too bad at 50 minutes at this point. I'm looking for a crash on eastbound 512 though, down the South Hill. Very foggy in that area, but I'm getting reports there might be something there. And then you've got about an hour drive from Puyallup to Renton. It's about 15 minutes slower than it should be. Really heavy as you work your way through the Pacific Lane restrictions. And then Renton to Bellevue is about a half an hour, so nothing out of line there. We're up to 55 minutes from Everett to Bellevue and 50 from Everett to Seattle as the brake lights are really starting to materialize away from Linwood. This traffic report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. Best place to watch your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there. EmeraldQueen.com.
Starting the morning, partly cloudy and foggy, but we'll eventually see some rain by late today. 63 the high, and then the showers are going to take over for quite a while. Showers tomorrow, 63, rainy and breezy for Friday and Saturday. A high of only 53 Saturday, 52 on Sunday. Right now it's 47 in Seattle.
6:36, time for the opening bell report. Seattle-based Amazon aiming to replace more than 500,000 jobs with robots.
Amazon executives say automation would allow the company to sell twice as many products within 10 years without adding to its U.S. workforce. And it's envisioning warehouses that are 75% operated by robots. That's according to interviews and documents obtained by the New York Times. Amazon says those documents are incomplete and don't represent the company's overall hiring strategy. Heather Bosch, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell is taking action to fight food deserts. This comes after the closure of the Fred Meyer in Lake City. Harrell signed an executive order directing city departments to explore acquiring the vacant property and expand access to groceries and medicine. The plan includes zoning changes, partnerships with private businesses, and a push for statewide reforms.
Seattle City Council has a little more money to work with than previously thought. The city's Jan Duras presented the October forecast this week.
In general, the forecast reflects that slightly improved outlook, increases revenues, not dramatically.
He says the city will have an additional $12 million, which is a small fraction of the city's general fund.
President Trump says he will not meet with Democrats over the government shutdown. Meanwhile, furloughed federal workers are already planning for the worst. Here's CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian.
We will not be extorted.
President Trump held firm as he hosted Senate Republicans in the White House Rose Garden Tuesday, later rejecting a request from Democrats for their own meeting.
I'd love to meet with them. I just want them to open up the country first.
Democracy is imperiled.
Senate Democrats held the floor late into the night to protest the Trump administration, while Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said the only way to end the impasse is to negotiate on the rising cost of health care.
A new survey shows that 90% of Americans intend to ignore key financial advice about Social Security. Here's correspondent Jesse Mitchell with more.
9 in 10 Americans say they don't plan on waiting until they turn 70 to collect Social Security, according to a new study by investment firm Schroders. Recipients that delay receiving benefits for 3 years past the full retirement age of 67 can get a 30% bump in monthly payments. Schroders says some people decide not to delay payments if their retirement accounts are not enough to cover expenses, and also over concerns that Social Security funds may not be there if they wait.
The Port of Seattle says the 2025 cruise season was a record breaker. 1.9 million passengers took cruises from Seattle to Alaska, as well as Mexico, Hawaii, New Zealand, and Asia. The industry injected $1.2 billion into the local economy and supported more than 5,000 direct or indirect jobs. The port says 65% of ships used electrical power while docked in Seattle instead of burning fossil fuels.
Okay, I'm going to butcher a couple pronunciations here, but I'm going to give it a try, Amanda.
Okay, do it.
A new bakery with Indonesian flair is opening in Ballard on Friday. Dion Himmelfarb, former pastry chef at Canlis and Ethan Stoll Restaurants, is launching Cloudy Cafe on 24th Avenue Northwest. Puget Sound Business Journal reports the bakery will serve French pastries and Indonesian-inspired treats like tamarind rumbaba and passion fruit flan.
I think you did okay.
Is it tamarind? Tamarind?
I think it's tamarind.
Flan, isn't it?
Flan?
Flan, not flan?
Oh, I told you I was going to mess up the pronunciations.
But you got her name right.
I did.
So there you go. All right, checking Wall Street. The bell has rung and stocks are lower. The Dow down about 63 at 46,861. S&P 500 down 1 and the NASDAQ down about 50 points.
Now, a word for KIRO 7 News live starting at 4. It's news that puts you there so you can see for yourself. News is happening now so you're ready. News that investigates to get you answers. News that's local because where you live matters. Know more, know now on KIRO 7 News at 4, 5, and 6 p.m.
All right, Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
We're going to take a look at the crash on northbound I-5 in the Tacoma area, and we'll break it down next.
The opening bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
I can't wait till I get a little older.
The John Curley Show.
I get a little bit more hair in my ears.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
And I can be the really crotchety old guy that can say to people in restaurants,
"Why don't you get your kid off the phone?"
You could do that now. No, I'm not there yet. Getting close to being eccentric. As my mom used to say, I don't make enough money to be eccentric. I'm just middle-class crazy right now.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube. Weekdays 3 to 7. And download the KIRO Newsradio app.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Hey there, Lori from Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation. Want to keep your home happy and prevent roof water damage? The answer is gutters. So if you're looking for gutter installation, cleaning, gutter guards, or repair, Guardian is here to the rescue. With Guardian's exclusive gutter and gutter protection systems, we are able to provide our own 30-year no-clog guarantee on all gutter systems we install. Call today and get $250 off a gutter guard installation or visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Are your investment dollars working as hard as they should be? You've spent years building your future. Don't let outdated advice put it at risk. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. We're a veteran-owned firm proud to bring a new standard of financial care to the Seattle area. Our nationally recognized advisors are fiduciaries, ethically bound to put your interests first. That's the highest standard of care in the industry. As a privately held company, we answer to you, our valued clients, not shareholders. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a customized plan. From Bellevue to Tacoma, get advice you can count on. It's time to take a fresh look at your financial plan. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300. Trajan Wealth. Plan smarter, dream bigger.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Time for traffic on the threes. Here's Chris Sullivan.
Visibility is going to be an issue today. It is very foggy out there across the board. We've also had a couple of crashes to deal with. The biggest, is still active, northbound I-5 as you make your way from 512 in Lakewood up into South Tacoma. Right after 72nd, we've got this crash blocking the two left lanes, and it's a pretty significant slowdown. We've got about an hour drive from Olympia to Tacoma, and all of that braking an extra 25 to 30 minutes is right there. It's not a great drive. And westbound 512 really getting jammed up in this because you're driving right into the backup. Once you get through that northbound, it's going to be okay till you get to about the Puyallup River Bridge. But there we had the brake lights up towards 70th because of an earlier crash. And then Federal Way to Seattle's about 50 minutes, maybe 55, depending on how you hit things by the West Seattle Bridge. Starting to bog down there. Valley Freeway really struggling up through the Pacific Lane restriction today. Give yourself about an hour to go from Puyallup to Renton. That's 15 to 20 minutes slower than normal. And then Renton to Bellevue, not quite a half an hour. Lake bridges are still relatively good. Nice and easy freeway speeds for you guys. Coming down from the north end, a little braking through Tulalip, getting into the Marysville area, a little bit on 204, getting down to the east end of the Trestle. And then kind of a normal drive from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Both of those drives. Everett to Bellevue is about 55 minutes. Everett to Seattle's about 50. This report brought to you by the Tacoma Holiday Festival, presented by Puyallup Chocolates, October 23rd through the 26th at the Tacoma Dome. Buy your tickets at holidaygift.shows.com.
It's now 6:44. We are 9 days away from Halloween, and DoorDash released a list of the top Halloween candies across the U.S. We're going to get to that in just a moment. What do you think it is? In the meantime, let's talk about the weather. It's going to be raining for today. We're nice this morning. It's foggy, but just partly cloudy for the morning hours. And then we're going to see rain by afternoon. High today of 63. It's 47 in Seattle right now.
That's such a tease, Manda.
I know, wasn't it, though? Katrina is standing by patiently.
All right, let's get to the sweet stuff. I think we have all experienced what it's like to get carried away with candy. Listen to this.
Well, I have to say that earns two pieces of candy.
I love you.
Oh, honey, here, take it all.
So if you want to win over some trick-or-treaters, here's what you need to hand out. So there's a list of 10 of the top candies. Give me your favorites right now.
I'm right up there with Snickers.
Okay, Snickers comes in at number 4.
Peanut M&M's for me.
Okay, M&M's, number 2.
I need good dark chocolate.
Yeah, of course you do. You're bitter.
I'm not a big Halloween candy person.
Sorry, Amanda, that does not make
My favorite candy is carrot, says Amanda.
Let's hand out raisins.
All right, let's do the top 5. So coming in at number 5, Skittles. Number 4, Snickers. Yum. 3, Hershey's Milk Chocolate Bar. Sorry, Amanda, no dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
And number 2, M&M's. And of course, number 1, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I mean, come on.
Okay, that makes sense.
They advertise the most, probably.
They make those in dark chocolate now, don't they? I think they do white chocolate, too.
I'm not sure.
We'll have to find out.
I'll go do some research.
Yeah, important research. Thank you, Katrina. Coming up on Seattle's Morning News, we're going to shift gears here and speak with CBS Justice correspondent Scott McFarland about the guy who allegedly threatened to kill House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. That is coming up on Seattle's Morning News.
So what will you have today? Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry?
When it comes to picking ice cream, there are lots of choices, and they all look and sound so good. Choosing a Medicare plan is a lot like that. So many options, all sound good. But if you pick a plan that's not right for you, there can be serious consequences. Hi, this is Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man. Open enrollment season is underway, and we're all being inundated with advertisements encouraging us to choose this Medicare Advantage plan or that one. Maybe the best choice for you is traditional Medicare. To make an informed decision, you need to do your homework. The Insurance Commissioner's Sheba program has a free Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit to get you started.
This is Insurance Commissioner Patty Kuderer. Our Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit has a checklist of 7 easy steps to help you decide which Medicare plan is right for you.
Order your free toolkit today today at insurance.wa.gov. That's insurance.wa.gov. Or pick up a copy at your local library or senior center. Then go get an ice cream.
Are you in pain? Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hi, everybody. It's John Curley. Before you make that decision, I recommend you see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I did, and it's been a game changer. My doctor took a look at my x-rays and said, well, looks like you need a whole new hip. And then he said, wait, how old are you? And I told him, and then he said, well, wait, you're too young for a hip. You're just going to have to, live with the pain. We'll see you in 3 years. It was horrible. Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures, using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Hey there, Dawn Riding with Olympic Hot Tub. You know what's better than soaking every night in a saltwater hot spring spa? Knowing you got it for an incredible price during our great rebate event. Save up to $4,500 on the best hot tub you can own. Saltwater soaking, incredible savings, sleeping better, feeling better. What are you waiting for? Our great rebate event ends October 27th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub. Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's morning news, wherever you are.
It is 6:49 now. The January 6th rioter who was pardoned by President Trump is now under arrest for threatening House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
Covering this story for CBS News is Justice Correspondent Scott McFarland. Scott, what do we know about this?
This is a January 6th rioter who was a face of the Capitol insurrection. Christopher Moynihan of New York wasn't just among the rioters. He was one of the precious few who went into the Senate chamber, rifled through desks, and helped seize the Senate dais, the Senate president's chair, during the Capitol siege. He was found guilty in 2022, served 21 months in prison, or part of that sentence, beginning in 2023. He was among the 1,500-plus January 6 rioters pardoned on Inauguration Day 2025. And 9 months later, according to state police in New York and a charging document obtained by CBS News, he texted threats that he was to murder House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. Not only did he say in those text messages that he allegedly wanted to murder Jeffries, but that he knew where Jeffries was to be on Monday at a public event in New York City. Moynihan's text messages alleged in this document were correct. Jeffries did have a public event Monday in New York City at the Economic Club of New York. State police arrested Moynihan one day before that Jeffries event.
What has Jeffries had to say about all this?
We spoke with him yesterday. He says that those blanket January 6 pardons do have consequences, do cause damage, do carry risk, and that the people who were pardoned may have not just been taught a lesson through their criminal justice experience, but may have been inspired by not just the blanket pardons, but the way they've been lionized as heroes, as patriots, and as political prisoners by the president.
We will continue to follow that story. Scott, while we have you, you're posting on X about this $230 million the president may be seeking from the Justice Department. This seems like a lot of money. What do we know about it?
This is a hard one to get your hands around because the president is confirming these reports from the New York Times in his responses to questions, that he has filed some claim for damages from the criminal investigations of him undertaken by the Department of Justice, for overturning the 2020 election or seeking to, for allegedly mishandling classified records in Florida. Those cases were dropped when he became president, but he is seeking some form of damages according to these reports, and he's indicated that those reports are true. But the people who decide whether he gets money are the top leaders of the Department of Justice, who are the defense lawyers he had in these cases. His personal lawyers run the U.S. Department of Justice. At least 3 of them are in key positions, so it may be the president deciding for himself whether he gets taxpayer money in the form of $230 million. I don't know what the political fallout of this is going to be. With the president, it's hard to know what political fallout is going to happen for what issue, but this one is not going to go unnoticed.
Well, and you have a great explainer up on X with Scott McFarland News. Scott, that is just some remarkable reporting of $230 million potentially for the president.
Was I going to get asked for my top 5 candies, or are we just going to let that go? Get a piece of that?
We only have time for number 1.
Peppermint patties all day, every day.
Oh, that is a wild card choice.
They're low calorie.
Yeah.
And they're dark chocolate.
Of course, that's immediately what you think, Manda. Oh, it's low calorie and dark chocolate.
Scott, thank you so much. We appreciate your time as always. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarland.
6:53 now. Let's check in with Sully at the traffic desk.
And we have cleared the crash in Tacoma that's been dogging us all morning long, right near 72nd as you get up into South Tacoma. Still have about an hour drive from Olympia into Tacoma, but we're getting better. The brake lights are now really concentrated right around 512 to just a little bit further north of that. Then you get through that, and we've got a new crash, this one on northbound I-5 right at 70th and Fife, just right around the corner in the construction zone. Looks like it's blocking the HOV lane, so we're losing some time there. And then Federal Way to Seattle's running at about 50 to 55 minutes. So actually maybe a little faster than you might have expected. Eastbound 512, really foggy there. We had an earlier crash down the South Hill, so we'll plan on a couple of extra minutes there, and then an hour from Puyallup to Renton. It is really heavy through Pacific today through that lane restriction, and then Auburn is normal. Coming up from Renton to Bellevue, 405 northbound, not quite a half an hour yet, so that's good. 18 over Tiger Mountains, a little slow towards the summit, but after that it gets much better where you get those second lanes. Coming down from the north end a little bit into Tulalip, so give yourself an extra couple of minutes from Arlington down through Marysville and into Everett, and then you've got about an hour drive from Everett to Bellevue, about 55 minutes from Everett to Seattle. Most of the brake lights on 5 are right there before you get to the Edmonds exit. For 405, a little bit away from Linwood, and then certainly through Canyon Park. Lake bridges are fine, and I continue to work and keep track of what's happening over in Cle Elum, where westbound I-90 remains blocked for that overheight bridge strike overnight. This report brought to you by Superior Linen Service. Never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company look good. Visit suplinen.com.
Partly cloudy and foggy to start your day. We expect a high of 63 for today and some rain moving in by the end of the day. Right now, cloudy and 47 in Seattle.
Coming up on Seattle's Morning News, more about that bridge strike in Roslyn. We'll also have former state AG Rob McKenna on with us at 7:15.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads. Great for you, and so easy you can put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage? Weird, but still a salad. 1 radish and a couple of green beans? Also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke? Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
Lori here from Guardian Roofing. When it's time to get that roof replaced, choose Guardian with our expert insured team and our Guardian Guarantee. Call now and get 1 year of maintenance free with the installation of a new roof, or visit us at guardianroofing.com.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
You can count on trusted local news and information from the Seattle Times, one of the few independent, locally owned news organizations in the country, right here in the Pacific Northwest. Subscribe today and don't miss a beat at seattletimes.com/subscribe.
Cancers impact so many, but there's hope because the UW Cancer Vaccine Institute is developing ways to treat and prevent the deadliest cancers. Learn more at uwcvi.org about patients who received treatment 20 years ago that are healthy today. You can help by donating to fight at your local Safeway.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Vice President Vance met with Prime Minister Netanyahu in Israel today as a fragile ceasefire in Gaza holds.
We're here to talk about peace. We're here to talk about how to ensure that the peace agreement that started about a week ago sticks, that we move into phase 2 and phase 3 with success.
Correspondent Holly Williams spoke with someone who has doubts.
Alon Pincus was an advisor to 4 Israeli foreign ministers. He's also a fierce critic of Prime Minister Netanyahu, who he believes will try to back out of the ceasefire deal.
He knows that if everything stops now and there is progress into the next phases, that almost inevitably means that he will be deemed as the guy who failed to defeat Hamas.
Israel says Secretary of State Marco Rubio will be next to travel there to meet with Netanyahu. More Americans say their retirement accounts aren't enough to cover expenses, and they're afraid Social Security money won't be there when they need it. So they're opting to ignore all of the financial advice and cash in early. CBS's Jesse Mitchell.
9 in 10 Americans say they don't plan on waiting until they turn 70 to collect Social Security, according to a new study by investment firm Schroders. Recipients that delay receiving benefits for 3 years past the full retirement age of 67 can get a 30% bump in monthly payments.
A survey from the nonprofit Kaiser Family Foundation finds the cost of family health insurance plans rose 6% this year to $27,000. That brings us to the impasse over expiring health care subsidies and the now 22-day-old federal government shutdown. With so many national parks employees furloughed, it's becoming a free-for-all in the sky overhead.
Base jumping, where you parachute off buildings or cliffs, is illegal in all national parks. But with the shutdown dragging on, there's really no one to stop the jumpers. More parachute daredevils have been caught on video jumping off the tall cliffs at Yosemite.
Never seen that before.
The Park Service says law enforcement officers are still on duty at Yosemite and responding to complaints. Base jumpers face up to 6 months in jail and a $5,000 fine if convicted. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
New Orleans top law enforcement officer tells CBS News she's expecting National Guard troops to arrive there next month. Correspondent Katie Weiss.
Police Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick believes that the city has already created a good relationship with National Guard leadership. So she says that this is a collaborative partnership. She says we're working together to plan their deployment and that they are not coming in to, quote, take us over.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
7:03 now, Wednesday morning. Let's check in with Chris Sullivan for traffic.
Yeah, we've got some visibility issues across the board today. It's pretty foggy out there. The biggest issue we've been dealing with is on northbound I-5, just north of 512, getting into South Tacoma. Until just a little bit ago, we had 2 left lanes blocked. Now all lanes are reopened, and the travel times come down pretty quickly. Olympia to Tacoma is down to about 45 minutes. So that's about 10 minutes slower than it should be. So definitely a big-time improvement. Still brake lights through the Fife area, really from the Puyallup River Bridge up through Fife. We had another crash in the HOV lane. That one appears to be off to the left shoulder now, and then you've got about an hour drive from Federal Way to Seattle. Looking at an hour drive as well from Puyallup to Renton, about 15 minutes slower than normal. A lot of that getting in through the lane restriction into the Pacific area. And then we're under a half an hour from Renton to Bellevue, which is actually pretty good. By the time you're up to 30th, it's a pretty clean drive. Coming down from the north end, a little bit south of the main Marysville exit now, looking at some slowing right at 529. That's not out of the line. And then we've got about an hour trip from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. This traffic report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. Best place to watch your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there, emeraldqueen.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
It's 7:04 and it's happened again. Big traffic issues ahead today for I-90, this time near Cle Elum.
Westbound lanes are starting to back up after a truck hauling an oversized load slammed into an overpass. This is the third bridge strike in just the past couple of months, creating yet another major headache for drivers.
And KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey joins us live with the latest.
So if you're looking at our YouTube feed right now, take a look at the damage here. Right smack in the middle of the Bullfrog overpass, which is at milepost 80, right before the way station there near Cle Elum. I'm turning my head to look at it too. Man, that is a hard hit. There's concrete all over the pavement. Dozens of pieces of rebar just dangling down. The real question is whether that right there can be repaired or not. Here's State Trooper Jeremy Weber to break down what happened.
There was a truck driver that had an oversized load, and apparently he was supposed to take that exit 80 to go around the bridge and didn't. Then, of course, struck the bridge and caused massive damage.
Well, he also tells me this truck driver should have known you can't drive an oversized load underneath that bridge.
They drive for a living, much like I do, and we have to be at the top of our game. They're huge, and they can't just stop on a dime. And so when they crash, they cause significant damage and shut roadways down for a long time.
Now, this is the third overpass or bridge hit by a trucker in recent months in our area. In September, you'll remember a 70-year-old driver was cited after damaging the 167 bridge near Pacific. Repairs won't be completed there until sometime next year, according to WashDOT. In August, the trucker hit the nearby White River Bridge on State Route 410. That bridge just reopened. So what do you do if you're going to be stuck in this mess? Well, they're detouring traffic up the off-ramp and back down the other side right now. It's showing yellow on I-90 westbound there, red on the, going up and over, but it's still early. When traffic starts picking up here as we go through the morning, it could get a lot worse. Trooper Weber tells me there are no signs of impaired driving. We'll keep you posted.
Luke, appreciate the update. 7:06 now. The man known as the Spokane South Hill rapist is no longer living in Auburn.
We get the latest on this from KIRO Newsradio's Aaron Granillo.
Auburn Mayor Nancy Backus says Kevin Coe was moved from her city following public outrage. Backus says she was never notified of Coe's arrival after he was released from state custody earlier this month. KIRO 7 TV reports Coe has since relocated to Federal Way near an elementary school. In a statement, the mayor of Federal Way says Coe, who's now 78 years old, is largely confined to a wheelchair and is confident he does not pose a significant public safety risk. Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Bystanders helped stop a shoplifter who Seattle police say pepper sprayed a security guard.
This happened at a grocery store near South Charlestown Street and Rainier Avenue South on Monday. People held down the shoplifter until police arrived. The security guard had spotted him trying to steal stuff, and while they tried to get it back, the guy sprayed and punched them. Both were treated for minor injuries, and the suspected shoplifter, a convicted felon, was arrested. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Keeping you informed since 1974.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Well, good morning. 7:08 now, Wednesday, October 22nd. Happy Hump Day.
Why, thank you. And thank you for reminding me of what day of the week it is, because I woke up thinking it was Tuesday.
It has just been a blur.
Yeah, it has.
Thanks to the Mariners, yeah. And Sully, I read on the text line, Dawn texted us saying about the Bullfrog Bridge overpass getting hit. He says that bridge is croaked.
Yeah, I think he's correct in many different ways.
That damage is extensive.
Yeah. I no engineer, but when you see that much rebar hanging down for an overpass, that doesn't stay up for
my
for
concern
long.
is also how long they could, are going to have to keep I-90 underneath it closed because of the potential danger of things continuing to fall or it to fail. So yeah, that's going to be with us.
Okay, so we'll keep it.
Hey, guess what? Winter's coming and the snow's starting. Hooray!
Job security for Sully. Well, coming up on this hour of the show, we have Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. It has ruled that President Trump can send National Guard troops to Portland. So why are we not seeing deployments there yet? We'll speak with former State Attorney General Rob McKenna.
And Charlie, what's coming up in your commentary?
Okay, Republicans and Democrats are both right and wrong about the government shutdown. We'll talk about that at 7:35.
Well, speaking of the shutdown, upwards of 80,000 workers in Washington state are affected by this government shutdown. Some, but not all, could qualify for unemployment benefits through the state.
I'm Heather Bosch. If you're a furloughed federal worker, you can apply for jobless benefits through Washington state. But the Employment Security Department's Donna Mack adds.
For the folks that are going to work and working without pay, they won't be eligible for unemployment insurance because they're working, even though they're not getting paid.
Those include essential workers like air traffic controllers, federal law enforcement, members of the military, and more. Both furloughed and essential workers will likely receive back pay once the government reopens, but any jobless benefits received would need to be paid back.
It is a little bit confusing, so the state is holding a webinar explaining not only employment benefits, but health care and local resources workers can use during the shutdown.
Pacific Northwest going to be very wet over the next few days.
There's going to be plenty of rain here. There'll be some breaks, but atmospheric rivers now are moving in again.
University of Washington meteorologist Cliff Mass tells the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red 770 AM. British Columbia will get the worst of it, but Western Washington can expect consistent rain through the end of next week.
If you lower the blood alcohol limit for drivers, fewer people will die. That from Washington State Patrol Chief John Batiste during a recent interview on TVW's Inside Olympia. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more on efforts to lower Washington's BAC limit from 0.08 to 0.05.
It is estimated the change could save more than 1,700 lives each year and lower fatality crashes by more than 11%. Currently, Utah is the only state with a 0.05 limit. Chief Batiste says it's time for Washington and the rest of the country to follow Utah's lead.
We're one of the only industrialized nations in the world who really doesn't operate at an 05 level.
According to the Washington Traffic Safety Commission, more than half of all fatal crashes in Washington involve driver impairment impairment by drugs and or alcohol. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle City Council has slightly more money to work with than previously thought. City's Jan Duras presented the October forecast this week.
Positive change for both 2025 and 2026 to the total of 12.1 million. That's less than 0.5% of the overall general fund forecast.
In a statement, Council President Sarah Nelson says she's cautiously optimistic, but in a statement she says uncertainty remains in Seattle due to tariffs and potential federal funding cuts.
Well, Seattle's women's hockey team is skating closer to its debut, and now we know their look. The team just revealed its first ever jerseys for the Professional Women's Hockey League. They feature a diagonal Seattle across the front with deep green, cream, and blue colors. No logo yet. They don't even have an official team name, but both are expected to before the season begins. The general manager says the design celebrates the league's first year in Seattle.
And updating a story we first brought you yesterday, Skyline High School's head football coach is back on the job. Peyton Pelluer was temporarily relieved of duties over the weekend pending a district investigation. The Issaquah School District hasn't shared details, but says after reviewing recent allegations, Pelluer has been reinstated. A letter from the coaching staff posted on social media suggests the issue may have stemmed from complaints about playing time. The coaches say we as a staff are eager to dive back into the game plan and continue investing in these young men every day.
It's now 7:12. That's time for a check on the weather. It's brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Well, it's foggy this morning. We're going to see partly cloudy skies through the morning hours, and then the rain is going to make its way to us by tonight. 63 today. For tomorrow, scattered showers late in the day, 63, but then the real rain comes in for Friday and Saturday, around a ½ inch on Friday, ½ inch on Saturday, and Saturday will only have a high of 53. Right now in Seattle, it's 47.
At 7:13, let's go to Chris Sullivan for traffic on the threes.
Yeah, we're definitely in recovery mode through the Tacoma area after a couple of different crashes that have cleared. So we're back down to about 45 minutes from Olympia to Tacoma and about 25 from Tacoma to Federal Way. But then Federal Way to Seattle's running over an hour. So we've kind of returned to normal there for that whole corridor up I-5 northbound. Valley Freeway continues to struggle. It's plus 20 across the board as we make that drive. It's an hour and 10-minute trip from Puyallup to Renton. It's really heavy through the Pacific Lane restriction and then also at the far north end as well. And then we have a Renton to Bellevue drive of about 30 minutes, so actually not too bad there. Hour and 5-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, as we're definitely starting to see things bog down coming across from the north end, and the lake bridges are fine. This report brought to you by the Tacoma Holiday Festival, presented by Puyallup Chocolates, October 23rd through 26th at the Tacoma Dome. Buy tickets, holidaygift.shows.com.
It's 7:14. Well, as the NBA season tipped off last night, one legend is staying far from the hardwood. KIRO Newsradio's Katrina Gishard is here to explain.
I'm talking about the one and only Michael Jordan. He's a special contributor to NBC's coverage of the league, and he sat down for a recent interview and shared this.
Do you ever pick up a ball and just shoot?
I haven't picked up a ball in years.
No, come on. Just like walk past. There's got to be a hoop somewhere at your place.
You don't see a hoop anywhere around here, right?
I don't.
Jordan also shared a story about recently renting out a house on Long Island for the Ryder Cup, and the owner of the house wanted him to shoot a free throw in front of his entire family. Apparently, his grandson idolized Jordan, and Jordan said he was nervous, but he did sink the shot. So he still got it.
It's wild to think that he just has not shot a basketball.
I don't believe him,
yeah.
do you?
That's what he says. It's been years.
Amanda's a skeptic. Thank you, Katrina. 7:15 now.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Well, this week, a U.S. appeals court ruled that President Trump can deploy National Guard troops to Portland, despite objections from local leaders.
Prosecutors through the Justice Department have argued that troops are needed in Portland to calm continued protests outside in an immigration and customs enforcement facility, which at times have led to violent clashes between federal agents and protesters.
Joining us now to break this down and what it could mean for the city and how the legal battle could unfold is former State Attorney General Rob McKenna. Nice to have you again, Rob, this morning. Can you explain how we got here in the first place?
Well, as you said, the Justice Department has been arguing that troops are needed in Portland because of the continued protest outside the ICE facility about 2 miles south of downtown. And those at times have involved some violent clashes between federal agents and protesters. So that's the predicate. Send troops in, protect a federal facility, similar to the rationale for sending federalized National Guard troops into parts of Los Angeles earlier this year.
So we have two situations here, right? Oregon National Guard troops, but also the president had at one time called up California National Guard troops. Are these both part of the same lawsuit, or are these separate issues?
Great question. They're related because the district court judge in Oregon ruled against the Trump administration and blocked them from sending in troops mobilized in Oregon and also troops from other states. Trump had planned to send forces from California and Texas. So this judge issued two temporary restraining orders, one blocking mobilization of the Oregon National Guard and another broader order which blocked him from sending in any troops from any other state to Oregon.
What do we know about when troops could actually be deployed?
Well, now it's a little unclear because the Ninth Circuit, well, first let me back up. The Justice Department appealed the first order, which blocked the president from mobilizing the Oregon National Guard. And on Monday, the Ninth Circuit ruled in the administration's favor and said no, that Trump can mobilize the Oregon National Guard. And the Justice Department, for some reason, had not appealed the second order about sending in troops from other states. So that may be stayed, although the two judges on this three-judge Ninth Circuit panel said, well, that the reasoning under the law is the same. And then what their reasoning was that there's a federal statute which authorizes the federalization of the National Guard when the president is, quote, unable with the regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. So on the other hand, the state of Oregon says, no, not so fast. Only the first order was stayed, not the second one. All of this is just temporary, of course, right? Because the question is really going to be resolved on appeal, and the issue is whether or not, pending the appeal, the administration can federalize Oregon National Guard troops or any troops to go in and be deployed around that ICE facility.
I don't have a fancy law degree or anything like that, Rob, but I got to imagine this winds up in front of the Supreme Court.
I mean, there's a good chance of that. You know, we've had a series of cases or disputes now about the president's authority to federalize the National Guard. There's also the related question of when any president can send in the regular military, regular troops who are not National Guard. And these are not new questions. We've talked before about the ICE protests in L.A., where Marines and National Guard were sent in. We talked about the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles in '92. 63 people died. The National Guard was federalized. U.S. Marines were sent in. Federal law enforcement was sent in. What we haven't talked about is another interesting precedent that I hadn't really looked into until recently, which is that President Eisenhower and President Kennedy federalized National Guard troops and sent in U.S. Army troops to Arkansas, to Mississippi, to Alabama to enforce public school and university desegregation. And that was not because there was an insurrection. It was because residents of those states were trying to block black students from entering those schools. And the presidents were able to mobilize the National Guard and send in U.S. troops to basically protect the students and get them into those schools.
Rob, you are a recovering politician, so I'd like maybe a little political analysis here. Would it make sense? Could the president simply go, look, the threat of sending these troops to Portland, now there's only half a block, people are filling a driveway in the ICE facility. See, my threats worked, and I don't need to put the troops on the ground. You're welcome, America.
Yeah, it's a clash of wills. I think, it's or almost like a chess game where the protesters, step up their protests, that they might become violent. That provokes a federal reaction by ICE officials on the ground and law enforcement, and they keep doing it. So the president says, well, I'm not going to tolerate these attacks on federal facilities. I'm going to send in these troops to protect them. So, that makes him look strong. And then there's this broader theme that we've heard a lot from President Trump that, these cities like Portland, Chicago, Los Angeles are crime-ridden, Washington, D.C., crime-ridden, and we're going to send in federal troops to fight crime. That's a lot more problematic because crime fighting is the province of state and local governments, not the federal government. But, when you have enough civil unrest, federal troops can be used, National Guard can be mobilized. The question is where you divide that line. And I think most people believe that regular law and order functions don't trigger that, but riots would. The question is, how big does the riot need to be?
Former State AG Rob McKenna. Rob, thank you, and we won't make you run for office again, okay?
Bless you. Thank you. I'm going back to my 12-step group now.
Take care. Thanks for your time, as always. It's 7:21. In Jerusalem, Vice President J.D. Vance says he's optimistic the ceasefire in Gaza will hold.
Standing next to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Vice President J.D. Vance said the next stage of the ceasefire will be challenging.
We have a very, very tough task ahead of us, which is to disarm Hamas but rebuild Gaza.
The U.S. brokered ceasefire signed earlier this month has faced challenges as Israel and Hamas have each accused the other of violating it. Linda Gradstein for CBS News, Jerusalem.
And President Trump says the federal government owes him money. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarlane explains.
President Trump addressed this ask for compensation, first reported by the New York Times yesterday. He was answering questions in the Oval Office and said it could be something his legal team was pursuing for the federal investigations into him.
I don't know what the numbers are. I don't even talk to them about it. All I know is that they would owe me a lot of money, but I'm not looking for money. I'd give it to charity or something. And it's awfully strange to make a decision where I'm paying myself. In other words, did you ever have one of those cases where you have to decide how much you're paying yourself in damages? But I was damaged very greatly, and any money that I would get, I would give to charity.
If Trump's lawyers do continue to pursue any payments, it would be unprecedented to have a sitting president receive a settlement. It would also likely need sign-off from the top officials in the Department of Justice who previously served as Trump's defense attorneys or represented his allies. In response to ethics concerns, a Department of Justice spokesman told CBS News in any circumstance, all officials at the Department of Justice follow the guidance of career ethics officials.
It's 7:23. That's time for a check on traffic. We do that every 10 minutes on the threes, and here's Sully.
And I'm moving my attention up north, where we are definitely seeing a lot more braking away from the Linwood area. It is a difficult drive from Linwood on down. You're going to need about 50 minutes from Linwood to Seattle or Linwood down into Bellevue, and that gives you about an hour and 10 all the way from the Everett area, maybe a little bit more. 522 is also really heavy today from the Snohomish River down through the fog towards Maltby and then approaching of 522 itself. So expect some delays there. We might actually have a crash on westbound 522 at 405. I'm checking into that one. It just popped up. Looking at the lake bridges, they're still in fine shape. Renton to Bellevue's just now getting toward a half an hour, which is great. The Valley Freeway still over an hour and 10 minutes. We've got a 15-20 minute delay total. That's because of all the braking you go through Pacific, and then the normal stuff in Auburn up at the north end is not too bad. The Olympia to Tacoma drive back down to 40 minutes after a couple of crashes we had there. Federal Way to Seattle's about an hour and 10 minutes. And looks like we'll see. Well, might have a crash now on westbound 16 as well, just getting into Port Orchard before you get into Bay Street. So I'm watching on that, and so I'll have an update on those two issues coming up in 10 minutes. This report brought to you by Washington 811. If you're digging in your yard, the law requires you to call 811 to avoid dangerous and costly damage. Call 811 or submit online, digsafewa.com.
Rainy and breezy at times today, a high of 63 tomorrow, and we're just looking at plain old rain and a sog fest for the weekend. Highs will be in the 50s. Right now in Seattle, it's 47 and cloudy.
And Charlie, you have a commentary coming up in 10 minutes.
Yeah, the great shutdown debate. Whoever side you're on is clear. Nobody is winning, and millions of federal workers are losing.
That is on the way here on Seattle's Morning News.
Looking for even more Seahawks content? Then you gotta check out The Reset. Hey, it's G. Scott, and every week, me and my co-host and Seahawks great Brandon Meebane talk Seahawks. We break down the matchups, and we're joined by former Seahawks players.
From Lakewood to Lombardi, Seahawks champion, my main man, Jermaine Kearse. What up, G?
Watch The Reset live on YouTube or subscribe on the Seattle Sports app.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Every year we see a spike in serious accidents involving motor vehicles, bicycles, and pedestrians occurring in the few days after daylight saving time. If you are injured in an accident, protect your legal rights with an experienced team of lawyers who know how to get results. Call Davis Law Group at 206-888-8888 to request a free legal consultation or get my free book on car accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Remember those yodelers we met in the Alps? I wired them euros from the bank, and they sent me their yodels in a can.
You wired money for canned yodels? That is so dumb. Banks are slow, and they hide fees and overseas transfers and exchange rates.
Well, I don't like the sound of that.
If you're gonna send money to Europe, just use Wise. Wise is super fast and never hides fees.
Smart. You can save up to 70% when you send money abroad. Be smart. Get Wise. Learn more by visiting wise.com. T's and C's apply.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
Save 30% on select perennials now at Sky Nursery.
I'm Jen, the greenhouse manager at Sky Nursery. For gardeners in the Pacific Northwest, fall is like a second spring. It's a great time to plant. You have so many options that will look gorgeous now and set you up beautifully for next year's springtime garden. Sky Nursery, the gardener's garden store, no matter the time of year.
Save 30% on select perennials while supplies last. More savings and details at skynursery.com.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Or save up to $3,000 on a new roof today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Hey, it's John Curley with some great news. If your home's heating or cooling is uneven, noisy, or expensive, listen up. The Quilt Ductless Heat Pump System from Home Comfort Alliance is changing the game. It gives you room-by-room control and next-gen efficiency, so you're only heating where you need it. That means real comfort and real savings, and every quilt system qualifies for max tax credits. Trusted for 50 years. Call the comfort people today at homecomfortalliance.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it. Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
Hey, it's Brock Ewart here, and you got to take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. It could save you a lot of money and get your family better coverage. First Mark has saved my family thousands of dollars every year. Take the First Mark Challenge. It's totally free. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 7:31. There is growing concern that federal immigration agents may be tapping into local police databases to gain access to license plate information collected across Washington.
It's also raising huge questions about the privacy of our state's data. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with more.
Yeah, Charlie and Manda, this is according to a brand new report from the University of Washington's Center for Human Rights. The report claims at least 8 local agencies in our state openly shared data from their flock license plate reader networks with U.S. Border Patrol and ICE, giving them so-called front door access to that data. The implication here is that local law enforcement in our state may have been helping federal agents track down illegal immigrants in the face of a state law that prohibits local agencies from helping enforce federal immigration laws. And the report claims in some cases local agencies ran searches on behalf of ICE and Border Patrol, and out-of-state law enforcement agencies reportedly made side door searches of Washington's data too. One report says a sheriff's department in Texas searched Washington flock data to locate a woman in connection to Texas's abortion ban. Also, according to the report, federal agents have been using the technology to get backdoor access to camera data as well. Researchers claim they found Border Patrol went into the camera networks of at least 10 other police departments in Washington state that never gave permission, including Renton Police Department, from May through August. And Charlie and Amanda, as far as the politically charged debate over illegal immigration that we're seeing unfold daily now, many lawmakers believe flock technology could be a powerful tool for federal agents to track down people who are here in this country illegally. This report, however, raises questions about the strength of Washington state law if local agencies are not following it, and how transparent flock technology really is, and whether police can fully control who sees all that data.
Luke, thank you. 7:33 now. And we have new details about the arrest of Seattle mayoral candidate Katie Wilson. Jason Rance on Seattle Red 770 reports Wilson was arrested in 2013 during a union-backed protest against Walmart. She was charged with disorderly conduct for blocking traffic in Renton, but she was released at the scene. Her campaign says it was part of a planned act of civil disobedience and calls the arrest insignificant. We previously reported Bruce Harrell, the mayor of Seattle, was arrested in 1996 for displaying a handgun during a parking dispute. His charges were dropped after he apologized to police.
A notorious sex offender now lives just blocks away from an elementary school in Federal Way. This mother tells KIRO 7 TV she feels uneasy knowing Kevin Coe, the so-called South Hill rapist, lives nearby.
I'm absolutely worried for my child. He walks home from school some days, and then I pick up my nieces and nephews, and they also walk home from school some days.
KIRO 7 TV's Brandon Thompson tells us why Coe was relocated.
He was released earlier this month after the state said he no longer met its civil commitment standards. First, he was going to move to Federal Way. Community pushback there meant he moved to Auburn, but that house was on Muckleshoot tribal land. The tribe trespassed him, and now he is back in Federal Way.
Coe is now 78 in failing health, and the mayor of Federal Way says he's confident Coe is not a serious public safety risk.
Let's head over to Sully for a look at traffic this morning.
And it's about average now. Our travel times are right about where they should be. The fog is definitely an issue out there for visibility-wise, and so it's not exactly great. But coming down out of the north end, if you got about an hour and 10-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, that's about normal. 55 of those minutes are away from Linwood, so it's going to be really thick there. Still searching for this crash on westbound 522. It looks like it's on the ramp getting up and down to southbound 405 there. So that's why I'm seeing the heavy brake lights back to Woodinville High School and really kind of extending all the way to Highway 9. The lake bridges are still okay, though. Westbound 90 starting to fill in. We got about a 35-minute trip now from Renton to Bellevue. Definitely seeing the brake lights there. Northbound I-5 is really struggling past the Kent Des Moines Road. Nice long gap, and then you hit it again from the middle of Boeing Field. About an hour and 15-minute trip now from Federal Way to Seattle. That's pushing us into the red just a little bit. Valley Freeway, about an hour with the brake lights right where they should be. And I'm still searching for this crash. I know it's there because we're backed up to Sedgwick Road on West westbound 16 trying to get up toward Bay Street. Not sure which lane. This report brought to you by Superior Linen Service. 98 years servicing quality uniforms, floor mats, and more. Call Superior Linen Service. They answer the phone, or visit suplinen.com.
We're seeing fog in some spots this morning, otherwise partly cloudy for the morning hours, and then here comes the rain by tonight. 63. Showers for tomorrow and 63, and then more steady, heavy rain comes in for Friday and Saturday. It'll be a little breezy too, and a high Saturday of only 53, 52 on Sunday. Right now it's 48 in Seattle.
Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
Time for this morning's commentary. Day 22 of the government shutdown. And if you're wondering how we got here, it's simple. Republicans control the House, Senate, and White House, but they still need 60 votes in the Senate to pass anything. Democrats have just enough senators to block, and they're using it. The Republican position, we've passed a clean funding bill 11 times. Democrats keep blocking it because they want health care subsidies extended. This is extortion. Open the government first, then we will talk health care. The Democratic position, those Affordable Care Act subsidies expire November 1st. 24 million people are about to see their premiums double. Also, you cut Medicaid in July. Fix it now or we don't budge. You know what? They're both right, and they're both being ridiculous. Keep in mind, recent polling shows 77% of all Americans, including 56% of Trump supporters, want these subsidies extended. Republicans, you control everything. You could include the healthcare stuff and pass it tomorrow. Yes, it would feel like giving into the Democratic demands, but you're the majority. How about you rename a few provisions, add a requirement to audit the system to find inefficiencies, approve it, and say, we fixed the Democrats' mess. Your base will eat it up. Democrats, you are blocking paychecks for 1.4 million workers to protect health care subsidies. Yes, health care is important. Yes, those premium hikes would hurt people. But you are literally stopping paychecks today to prevent premium increases next month. How about you let the paychecks flow and make this a campaign issue instead? Republicans doubled your premiums, writes itself. And let's be real. Both parties are reading from the other side's old playbook. In the 2018 shutdown, remember that? Democrats begged Republicans to think about federal workers. Now, Republicans are begging Democrats to think about federal workers. Back then, Republicans said the wall was worth the fight. Now, Democrats say health care is worth the fight. You've all swapped jerseys and pretend we don't notice. Health care is important. Keeping government open is important. But while you're having this philosophical debate, 80,000 federal employees in Washington state alone are having a different debate. Which bill to skip this month? And remember, furloughed federal workers will eventually get their back pay. It's the law. But the contractors, the people who clean the offices, run the cafeterias, provide security, they are just out of luck. Those paychecks are gone forever. So, to any functional adult remaining in Congress, turn off the cable news, meet face-to-face, skip the press conferences, do the math, then keep the government open. Day 22 and counting. Fun fact, members of Congress never miss a paycheck during shutdowns. Makes it easier to take principled stands when the principle doesn't cost you anything. And that's a commentary for October 22nd, 2025. You can text us at 888-973-5476 and always leave a comment at mynorthwest.com.
It's 7:39. Sully, what do you have coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to take a look at the building volumes and also trying to get a handle on what's happening westbound 16 into Port Orchard. Break it down for you next.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
While you're getting ready every morning, make us part of your routine.
What a morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO Newsradio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO Newsradio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
So what will you have today? Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry? When it comes to picking ice cream, there are lots of choices, and they all look and sound so good. Choosing a Medicare plan is a lot like that. So many options, all sound good. But if you pick a plan that's not right for you, there can be serious consequences. Hi, this is Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man. Open enrollment season is underway, and we're all being inundated with advertisements encouraging us to choose this Medicare Advantage plan or that one. Maybe the best choice for you is traditional Medicare. To make an informed decision, you need to do your homework. The Insurance Commissioner's Sheba program has a free Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit to get you started.
This is Insurance Commissioner Patty Kuderer. Our Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit has a checklist of 7 easy steps to help you decide which Medicare plan is right for you.
Order your free toolkit today at insurance.wa.gov. That's insurance.wa.gov. Or pick up a copy at your local library or senior center. Then go get an ice cream.
Looking for a high school that nurtures both the mind and spirit? Archbishop Murphy High School is where academic excellence meets faith-based education. With a 100% graduation rate and a college prep program designed to challenge and inspire, our students are prepared for whatever the future holds. But it's more than just academics. Archbishop Murphy's robust athletics, arts, and co-curricular activities ensure that every student finds their passion and thrives. Archbishop Murphy High School believes in educating the whole person. That's why we offer a vibrant campus life where students grow not only academically, but also spiritually, socially, and physically. Don't just take our word for it. See it for yourself. Schedule a visit and discover how Archbishop Murphy High School can help your students succeed. Visit am-hs.org. IRG Physical and Hand Therapy proudly supports Archbishop Murphy High School, where your story begins. am-hs.org.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We know exactly what you're not thinking about right now. Wiper blades. But now that you are, take a moment to think about how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America. Why? Because Rain-X thinks about wiper blades all the time. We obsess, so you don't have to. Simply install our blades and then think about literally anything else. So choose Rain-X, America's #1 wiper blades, and then go back to not thinking about wiper blades. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
7:43 now. Let's check in with Sully.
And we have settled into a pretty typical Wednesday out there. The only alternative out there, or the outlier, is really the fog, and the visibility is not exactly great. Now that we have a little sun coming through, it's making the visibility even a little worse, actually, because you're seeing the fog when a lot of it's laying down right at road level. So just keep that in mind. Travel times are about average, plus or minus. We've got about an hour and 15 from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, and most of that to braking is away from the Linwood area. We've got about an hour, maybe, just from Linwood on down. And of course,
it's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
Hit the $15 mark on southbound 405 as you make your way down out of Linwood. Looking at northbound I-5, up to an hour and 20 now. We've got 40 minutes into South Center, 40 minutes from. It is struggling up past the Kent Des Moines Road before freeing up. Then you hit the brake lights again by the north end of Boeing Field, but actually the south end of Boeing Field, excuse me. So that drive into Seattle's a little bit behind schedule today. Valley Freeway plus 15 at an hour all the way. Renton to Bellevue's about a half an hour. Lake bridges are okay, though. I-90 is starting to heat up a little bit. Still looking for confirmation on this crash before you get up to Bay Street. Coming westbound on 16. We're backed up well before Sedgwick. Not sure if it's construction or if it's a lane block for a crash. I could use some help from my friends who are out there this morning. This report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. Best place to watch your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there, emeraldqueen.com.
Our forecast, we're going to start the day partly cloudy with some fog in spots, but here comes the rain, and then it's going to be here to stay for a spell. Breezy this afternoon as the clouds build, and we'll see rain by tonight. For tomorrow, showers will be late in the day, and then more steady, heavy rain is moving in for Friday and Saturday. A little bit breezy, too, and a high of only 53 on Saturday. Right now, it's 48 in Seattle.
7:45 now, and if you are a Wordle warrior or a Connections champ, this story is for you. Here's Katrina.
The New York Times Games' first ever hardcover collection of the app's best games is now on sale. The new book is called Puzzle Mania. It's packed with Wordle, Connections, Spelling Bees, Minis, and much more. Joel Fagliano is the editor of Puzzle Mania and tells WNYCW.
Puzzles are a way of testing your recall of things you know, and also of your way of exploring new avenues in the brain, making new connections, new synapses. So if I can contribute in that to any way, I'm happy to. Otherwise, just trying to have people have a good time.
The book costs $38, might be just in time for Christmas.
I play Wordle and Connections every day, but I just can't imagine doing it in a book. It doesn't make sense. It's interactive on the phone.
Yeah, it doesn't light up and tell you when you're wrong or when you got it.
Yeah,
so
all
it's
right.
different.
Investigation will be needed, Katrina.
All right.
It's 7:46 now on Seattle's Morning News. And coming up, a massive outage for Amazon Web Services this week is still causing issues. We're going to check in with CBS tech contributor Ian Scher.
Cancer impacts so many families, including mine. Former Washington Husky Mario Bailey here. My mother was treated for cancer at UW Medicine. As devastating as cancer is, there is hope, because the Cancer Vaccine Institute is developing vaccines to treat and prevent the deadliest cancers. Patients who received vaccines over 20 years ago are still alive today. Please join me and make a donation to the Cancer Vaccine Institute at local Safeway stores. Learn more at uwcvi.org.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
I'm Macy House with Baird Global Investment Banking. In today's markets, global financial capabilities aren't worth much without personal attention to your priorities. Baird Banking, Research, and Private Equity professionals are located across 3 continents, sharing more than investment expertise. As employee owners of our firm, we all have a personal stake in your success, here in the Pacific Northwest and around the world. Discover the Baird difference. Visit rwbaird.com/Seattle.
Hey there, Dawn Riding with Olympic Hot Tub. You know what's better than soaking every night in a saltwater hot spring spa? Knowing you got it for an incredible price during our great rebate event. Save up to $4,500 on the best hot tub you can own. Saltwater soaking, incredible savings, sleeping better, feeling better. What are you waiting for? Our great rebate event ends October 27th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Good morning, it's 7:49. An outage that shook the internet Monday. It was a massive outage of the Amazon Web Service, wreaked havoc on all sorts of servers.
Joining us now with the full impact is CBS tech contributor Ian Scher. Ian, tell us the big picture here. How did this happen, and why did it happen?
Well, the way it happened and the why are very connected. So, fortunately, it doesn't appear to have been a hack. So that's the good news. But the reason that it happened was that there is a technology called DNS. And what it is essentially is imagine it as a phone book for the internet, right? When you type in google.com or KIRO.com, what you end up with is that your computer actually goes to a unique ID number where that computer is. So imagine it like a GPS coordinate, right? You don't know where your home is on GPS, but you know the address. It's very similar here. The problem was that Amazon's broke overnight on Sunday night. and or Monday morning, really. And everything started to fail. Now, part of the reason for that is that a lot of the internet runs on Amazon's stuff, right? You may think of Amazon as the company that deliver, you in the retailer, but they also have massive computer systems to run all those apps and everything. And they realized quite a while ago that, hey, we don't need it all the time. We don't need to use it every day. Sometimes we need it when there's big shopping and other times not. So why don't we rent out extra space to other companies and do it on the cheap because we already paid for it anyway, and that'll help us to make more money. Well, it's turned into a massive business, and Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are the three biggest ones on the internet. So when Amazon had that phone book error, essentially, suddenly about a third of the internet wasn't able to talk to all their stuff. And that means people like Disney Plus and Venmo and Netflix and all these other companies that rely on Amazon in one way or another to operate.
What does this say about just how much power one company can have over the entire internet?
I mean, that has been an ongoing conversation. Originally, if we think back to the Cold War, the reason that the internet was invented was so that we would have decentralized information, right? The idea was that it wasn't in one place. If there was an attack, we could get the information from somewhere else. Well, the thing is that natural market forces and capitalism have led us to this point where we have these massive, ultra-large companies that are running everything. And the tough part is that there are people who say, hey, this isn't a good idea. We should change that. But because of what's called economies of scale, right? The idea that the more Amazon builds, the cheaper it is for them to build this stuff, has it at a point where it's much cheaper for them to run these computers than it does for you and me. And any competitor who wants to be able to go up against them has to go to all their customers and say, hey, we can beat them on price. And of course, most people can't. That's why only Google and Microsoft are really the only other players in town.
And Ian, 30 seconds left. I worked for Microsoft maybe 30 years ago, helping set up NT servers for different applications. And we had to be hyper aware of DNS back then. This is an underpinning of everything. Why hasn't the technology changed since then to make this more bulletproof?
Well, there are efforts to make it more bulletproof, but the reality is that even the most well-written software is still written by human beings. And you and I are not perfect, and so neither is the software we make. And the truth is you can have as many backup systems as possible, but at the end of the day, there is still going to be failures. That's why there's a word in the tech industry called 5-9. That's that they can only ever guarantee 99.99999% uptime. There's going to be about an hour every year that things aren't working. And that all piled up into Monday.
Ian, thank you so much for your time this morning. CBS Tech contributor Ian Scherr.
At 7:54, let's head over to Traffic Desk with Sully.
And we want to thank all our drivers that have been letting us know what's happening on westbound 16 getting into Port Orchard. Right lane is blocked just as you get over towards Bay Street, and we're backed up from Bethel all the way, before Sedgwick. So plan on at least a 15-minute delay trying to get through the area. The rest of the map on this side of the water looks relatively normal. Heavy, but normal. Hour and 20-minute trip is probably the slowest one from Federal Way into Seattle. That is about 10 minutes slower than it should be. 40 minutes into South Center, 40 minutes from. So not exactly a great day there. Federal Way to Seattle, I just gave you. Rented to Bellevue, we are running at about 40 minutes, maybe a little more. Starting to see a little bit more action past 44th, working your way up into the Coal Creek Parkway area. Behind that on the Valley Freeway, we're looking at about an hour and 10-minute trip from Puyallup up to Renton. Heavy up the Five Hill. Looks like we might have another crash. That would be our third one of the morning, working our way up towards Highway 18. So plan on a couple of minutes there. Out of the north end, solid hour and 15-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. This report brought to you by Washington 811. If you're digging in your yard, the law requires you to call 811 to avoid dangerous or costly damage. Call 811 or submit online, digsafewa.com.
Foggy to start the day, otherwise partly cloudy, and rain moving in by tonight. A high today of 63. Right now it's 48 in Seattle.
Coming up, we'll have News Nation's Tom Dempsey with an update on the government shutdown. That is at 8:15. You're listening to Seattle's Morning News.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Announcing the Royal Corgis.
What have you done?
I wired pounds to London to buy Royal Corgis.
You went to the bank to wire money for Royal Corgis?
That means yes.
You are so dumb. Banks are slow and they hide all kinds of fees and transfers.
Those mutts.
If you want to send money overseas, use Wise. It's faster and never hides fees. Oh, they're fighting, just like the real royal family.
You can save up to 70% when you send money abroad. Be smart. Get Wise. Learn more by visiting wise.com. T's and C's apply.
IRG Physical and Hand Therapy doesn't just treat injuries, they elevate athletes. From weekend warriors to elite competitors, IRG Sports Institute clinics are built for performance, blending top-tier physical therapy with advanced sports science and personalized training plans. Hey, Brock Hewitt here with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Why? Why elevate athletes as well?
Because here at IRG, Brock, our motto is we want you to be your best self, your best physical self, your best mental self, and your best community self. At our new IRG Fremont Sports Institute, we're providing that type of care. We've got the latest equipment, the greatest techniques, the providers there that are excited to get you better, basically bigger, faster, stronger. Doesn't matter if you're a weekend warrior, a recreational athlete, an elite athlete, we will make you to be your best.
You'll work with specialists who understand the grind because they've been there. With access to cutting-edge equipment and recovery techniques, you won't just heal, you'll come back stronger. Visit IRGPT.com, IRGPT.com.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, and guaranteed repairs. This dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, and a full service history, all at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence. Bucky's.com.
Lori here from Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation. I'm here with good news. Guardian has flexible financing options. With Guardian's acclaimed services, you can upgrade or repair your roof, gutters, and insulation. Call to hear about our flexible financing options or visit guardianroofing.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. A very long stretch on the Senate floor for a lawmaker taking aim at Trump administration policies.
Is it okay for mass federal agents to arrest people off the street because of their skin color or their accent? No way.
CBS's Torian Small.
Jeff Merkley, the Oregon Democrat who has been pretty much going on a tear since about 6:30 last night, protesting the Trump administration and also the fact that he hasn't been open to negotiating with Democrats when it comes to reopening the government. He's also pushing back on Trump's outsized response from ICE in Portland, Oregon, and also the measure to send in the National Guards there.
It's day 22 of the government shutdown. CBS's Nicole Killian takes us to a food pantry in the nation's capital that's catering to furloughed workers.
Where there's a need, we feed.
Pastor Oliver Carter helps run the food pantry and understands their plight.
My wife works for the federal government right now.
And she's furloughed.
And we got a check last week, a half a check, and this week is no check coming. So we should be in line too. But it's really great that we can help other people while we need help.
A court appearance is set for today in L.A. for a man who was arrested after allegedly ramming his car into law enforcement vehicles. He and a federal marshal were wounded by gunfire from ICE agents. Overseas, Vice President Vance met today in Israel with Prime Minister Netanyahu about the Gaza ceasefire.
As the president said, there will be torments along the way. It will be difficult, but I feel very optimistic.
Here at home, CBS's Peter King tells us SpaceX has shattered a record.
The record breaker is flown from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California.
And liftoff. Go SpaceX, go Starlink, go Falcon.
This morning, Starlink Internet satellite launch was number 133 for the Falcon 9 this year from California and Florida. Last year, the SpaceX rocket's 132nd launch didn't come until New Year's Eve.
Correspondent Michael Wallace has more on what Gen Z wants to see online and on TV.
The annual Teens and Screen survey by UCLA Center for Scholars and Storytellers finds today's young people, ages 10 to 24, prefer animation over live content. Almost half say there's too much sex on TV and in movies. 60% say they want to see romantic relationships depicted as more about friendship between a couple than sex. They're also tired of content about toxic relationships and love triangles.
And checking Wall Street, the Dow is down 93 points. NASDAQ is down 88. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
8:03. Let's head over to the traffic desk with Sully.
And we have settled into a typical day out there, especially for a Wednesday. Fog's a little bit of an issue, so visibility is not great. Travel times plus or minus right about what you should expect for one of the heavier days of the week. The outlier is the I-5 corridor from Federal Way to Seattle. It's running about an hour and 20 minutes, 40 minutes into South Center, 40 minutes from. Big gap there right through South Center, so you'll think you're out of it, and that's just, we like to call that false traffic. Ha-ha! No, you're right back into it by the as you work your way up past Boeing Field. So that's about 10 minutes slower than normal. Coming out of the north end, we've got about an hour and 10 to an hour and 15 minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. About an hour of that is from Linwood, so that's nothing out of the ordinary. The brake lights are going to follow the typical pattern you're used to daily. Renton to Bellevue, about 45 minutes now. Lake Bridges, westbound 90 is a little heavy, but westbound 520 in Montlake, but overall under 25 minutes for either Lake Bridge. About an hour from Puyallup to Renton, really heavy up the hill to Highway 18. We had another crash there, which has cleared, and we're still working with this crash in Port Orchard, westbound 16, before Bay Street, right lane blocked. This report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. Best place to watch your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there, emeraldqueen.com.
It's 8:04, and welcome to the Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025 edition of Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
It has happened again, this time along I-90 near Cleellum. All westbound lanes are backed up after a truck hauling an oversized load slammed into an overpass.
This is the third bridge strike in just the past couple of months. It's creating yet another major headache for drivers, and KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest.
You might be wondering to yourself, what the heck is going on here lately across the state? Well, if you're watching on your YouTube feed, take a look at the damage for yourself. This is pretty bad. right smack in the middle of Bullfrog Overpass, which is milepost 80, right before the way station there if you're heading westbound near Cle Elum. A mile back up right now is what I just measured on the maps. It went from a half mile to a mile in just the past half hour, though, so it's getting worse and worse. There's concrete all over the pavement there. I'm sure they've cleaned a lot of that up by now, but there are dozens of pieces of rebar that are just dangling down toward the pavement. That's not getting cleaned up anytime soon. That's a mess. And here's State Trooper Jeremy Weber to break down what happened.
There was a truck driver that had an oversized load, and apparently he was supposed to take that exit 80 to go around the bridge and didn't. Then, of course, struck the bridge and caused massive damage.
He also tells me truck drivers know you're not allowed to drive an oversized load underneath that overpass. You've got to go around. Well, this is the third overpass or bridge hit by a trucker in recent months. In September, a 70-year-old driver was cited after damaging the 167 bridge near Pacific. Repairs will not be completed there until sometime next year, according to WashDOT. In August, the trucker hit the nearby White River Bridge on State Route 410. That bridge just reopened. WSP says all those delays, though, those detours, the traffic jams, it impacts all of us.
So when that stuff slows down, everything slows down. You know, your Amazon packages slow down, like all the things that we don't, think about that are delivered to our grocery stores, all that stuff. I just wouldn't want to be in the truck driver's, position.
And he said he wouldn't want to be in the truck driver's position right now. Okay, right now, again, just to reiterate, they are detouring traffic up the off-ramp, back down on the other side, showing a mile back up westbound I-90 in Cle Elum. Trooper Weber tells me no signs so far of any impairment.
Luke, thank you for the update. The so-called Spokane South Hill rapist is no longer living in Auburn.
The mayor says Kevin Coe was relocated, as we hear from KIRO 7 TV's Dee Dee Sun.
The mayor made this announcement saying the city worked with multiple agencies to get Kevin Coe out of the city. The mayor shared her, quote, deep frustration last week over how this whole situation was handled, and now Coe will be once again living in Federal Way, according to the mayor.
Coe's new residence is about a block away from an elementary school. The mayor of Federal Way says he's confident Coe, now 78 years old, does not pose a serious public safety risk.
It's 8:07. Halloween spirit turned sour in Auburn as vandals targeted festive displays. Here's KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomeybow.
Rob Goshorn's haunted Halloween display under attack.
They came in and just punctured him with a knife. I don't know if it was a razor knife or what kind of knife it was, but slashed him pretty good. Looks like the Halloween bandit did it. He came by and slashed 10 of my air blow-ups.
He posted video Monday, not knowing he wasn't alone. That same night, cameras caught a vandalism spree across Auburn. Surveillance video captures teens storming a porch, smashing pumpkins.
Yeah, we have 5 air blowups in our yard.
Yeah, this is your neighborhood,
5
right?
were slashed. No, this isn't my neighborhood. They went through a large section. The house that was hit, that's like a mile or two away.
Oh, my goodness.
They went through a large section of Auburn. They hit dozens and dozens of houses.
And how angry are you? Frustrated.
Frustrated. Especially, there were a couple middle schoolers, but also 3 adults who have been arrested for this.
That's terrible. It's 8:08.
Seattle's morning news. Always live, always connected. Stream, watch, subscribe, and share at mynorthwest.com.
Little duct tape did the trick, though, Amanda.
I was just going to ask if they were fixable.
Some
They're
clear
wiener dogs.
duct tape. Yeah, I mean, they were pretty sharp razors they were using to slice them, but they don't look perfect, but
All right. Well,
fair
they're
enough.
not cheap. I'm glad you could fix them.
Yeah.
Does that duct tape work on bridges?
That one in Roslyn's going to need it.
Yeah.
I'm talking to some engineers offline, and they're looking at this. Again, we're not engineers, but that kind of damage and dangling rebar looks like replacement.
Yeah.
And not sure if you can have anything under that either till they take care of it. So
we'll keep an eye on it.
I think it's toast. That's my engineer.
Is that your technical
Is that your
description?
engineer? Yeah. Wow. First commentaries now.
Yeah.
Here, look at you.
Yeah.
All right. It's Wednesday, October 22nd. He's Charlie Harger. I'm Manda Factor.
And coming up on this hour of the show, we'll have News Nation reporter Tom Dempsey, who will have the latest on the government shutdown.
And Amazon planning to replace more than 500,000 jobs with robots. G. Scott has a few things to say about that.
It's now 8:09. Could Washington State soon see blood alcohol limit for drivers lowered from 0.08 to 0.05? State Patrol Chief John Batiste told TVW's Inside Olympia he thinks it's a good idea.
I'm hired to save lives and make sure the troopers out there are helping do that. And that is another tool, a law that would help them do so.
According to House Bill 2196 estimates, if implemented, the .05 limit could save more than 1,700 lives nationwide every year and cut alcohol-related fatalities by 11.1%.
Everett's no sit, no lie law is back up for debate, and the city council will vote tonight on whether to renew it. This bans sitting or lying down in parts of downtown and giving out food or supplies without a permit. City leaders say it's a tool to help homeless people get services. Some nonprofits and unhoused residents say it's unfair and harmful. Business owners have pushed for it, hoping to keep sidewalks open and safe.
If you're a federal worker who's been sent home without pay during the government shutdown, you can apply for jobless benefits through the state. But if you're considered an essential worker, like an air traffic controller or a member of the military, take note.
For the folks that are going to work and working without pay, they won't be eligible for unemployment insurance because they're working, even though they're not getting paid.
Donna Mack with the Employment Security Department says there are other resources available. They are holding a webinar tomorrow with all kinds of info to help those affected by the shutdown. We have a link on our website, mynorthwest.com.
Seattle sportscaster Aaron Levine is about to see a lifelong dream come true.
This is Jeopardy!
The Fox 13 Seattle sports director says he'll be a contestant on Jeopardy on Monday night. He shared on social media that the show will air at 10:30 in the evening on Como TV because of Monday Night Football. It'll stream on Peacock and Hulu the next morning. He thanked Fox 13 for letting him take part, even though it's on a rival station. Levine says it was an experience he'll never forget, and he joked that timing that buzzer is tough. The Jeopardy host, Ken Jennings, of course, also from the Seattle area. This isn't Levine's first game show. He actually was on The Price is Right back when he was 18.
It's 8:12. The rest of October going to be wet in the Pacific Northwest.
University of Washington Atmospheric Sciences professor Cliff Mass tells the Jason Ranch Show on Seattle Red 770 AM, atmospheric rivers are headed our way.
So these atmospheric rivers are these plumes of water vapor that come from the subtropics, and we're going to get substantial rain during the next 10 days.
Late this week and into the weekend, British Columbia will get hit the hardest. Here in western Washington, we'll have moderate but steady rain through the end of next week. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Well, at 8:12, our more recent forecast, or what's the word I'm looking for? Current forecast. Okay. Check on the weather is brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Before all that heavy rain moves in is what I was trying to say. We're going to see some showers by tonight. 63 the high. Until then, partly cloudy through the morning hours. For tomorrow, showers will be late in the day again, and then here comes that heavy, steady rain for Friday and Saturday as well. Immediate. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
It's for, I blame the Mariners. My brain is still not functioning properly. It's 46 in Seattle right now.
I'm blaming the Mariners. I would never blame Sully, though, who's at the traffic desk.
Though my shoulders are broad and I can carry the weight. So if you would like to blame me, I'll do it. But I was thinking the same thing. We're all kind of discombobulated after
we had to stay
Monday.
Up late. Yeah.
Just kind of like Brian Wu on the mound, as we saw. Okay.
We're all better now.
Reset. The drive now, not out of line, nothing too terrible, and we're rolling relatively accident-free at this point. So the heaviest drive is on northbound 405 now as you work your way through the Renton S curves all the way up to about 44th. We're a little over 45 minutes now to make it up into Bellevue. We also have slowing in both directions of I-90 approaching 405, which is, of course, adding pressure getting up into South Bellevue as well. So that corridor is a little heavy. Behind that, the Valley Freeway is still pretty thick in Auburn, but the biggest issue there is for our other bridge strike. Northbound 167 getting through Pacific, hour and 5-minute trip from Puyallup up to Renton. Some brake lights up the hill to Highway 18. We had a couple of different crashes there this morning. Plan on about 25 minutes to Federal Way, and then Federal Way to Seattle's about an hour and 20. Nothing out of line, maybe an hour and 15 now. We're picking up the pace a little bit towards the Kent Des Moines Road. Across the lake, 25 minutes for either Lake Bridge in the westbound direction. Still about an hour and 5 to an hour and 15 from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, depending on how you hit the volume in Linwood. It's been rolling around 55 minutes to an hour just from Linwood. Westbound 2 and 204 a little slow getting towards the east end of the trestle, and we're still working with this crash, or it looks like it might have cleared actually on westbound 16 as you get around towards Bay Street in Port Orchard. This report brought to you by Superior Linen Service. Never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company look good with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, and more. Visit superiorlinen.com.
8:15 now, a debate over a Christmas tree dividing a city. Here's KIRO News Radio's Katrina Gishard. Did I sound dramatic enough?
Yes, I think so. Okay, let me just ask this first. When is it too soon, do you think, to put up a Christmas tree?
Before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's kind of my rule, too. But it goes up the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay, I'm cool with that. Well, over the weekend, the city council in Birmingham, England, put up a 65-foot tree in a public square. And for some, it's welcome. Make my wish come true. It's just the intro, guys. But most residents are pointing out that Halloween is not even here yet. They say the move has left the area looking like it's the middle of December rather than October.
I've heard some people have already put up the Christmas lights.
I was just going to say I have a confession to make. I must have missed an email because I use this really great service where they keep the lights for me throughout the year and then they come and put them up in time for the holidays. Well, I was driving home. I pulled up to my house and there they were last week putting up the Christmas lights. I didn't.
Are they on?
No. Yeah, they're on.
Wait a second. You didn't tell us that.
They put them on a timer. Well, where I live, there's a store across the street that has nice little white lights.
I had two houses this morning that had their, and I was like, what is going on here?
Everyone has those cafe string lights anyway, so it's not that out of place.
My HOA would have my hide.
You need to live in the city where there is no HOA.
It's 8:16.
Seattle's tradition for news and conversation. This is Seattle's Morning News with Charlie Harger and Manda Factor.
Do I need to turn them off? Now I'm all self-conscious.
Yeah,
I would say yes.
All right. It's 8:16. No, the government shutdown is entering week 4, one of the longest shutdowns ever. Neither Democrats nor Republicans budging on health care subsidies.
Let's get an update from News Nation reporter Tom Dempsey, who's in the nation's capital where the lights are not on. All right, good morning, Tom. Where do we stand this morning?
Hey, guys. Good morning from the nation's capital. It is day 22, unfortunately, of the government shutdown. And here's the thing. I'm looking for new angles, new factors, signs of major breakthroughs coming between Republicans and Democrats. And we're just not there yet. And, literally just in the last hour, we were watching House Speaker Mike Johnson talk about the ongoing shutdown, the blame game very much continuing, and really saw no signs of any progress between these two sides. Democrats, on the other hand, literally as we speak right now on Capitol Hill, some of the House leaders are holding a hearing, talking with Americans who are directly impacted, they say, by things like, furloughs, firings, service cuts, and, big price increases to health care. But, the biggest thing, there's a 12th round of voting later today on the Senate floor, whether or not to end the government shutdown. And we're just not there yet, expecting any sort of major breakthrough. And right now, all signs point to that failing. But, here's the thing, there's the political side to this, and then there's very much the human side, the realistic side, the impacts of this government shutdown. One thing I do want to mention is the impacts to this supplemental nutritional assistance program that helps, Americans who are, living near or below the poverty line. It's better known as SNAP, and it helps them afford groceries. There's been almost a dozen states send out warnings about, November benefits possibly being cut as a result of the ongoing government shutdown. So there's some very real concerns out there. But when it comes to the view here in D.C., really no signs of any sort of major breakthrough coming, guys.
Well, President Trump has made his stance pretty clear. What's he saying this morning?
Yeah, so the big thing to focus on with President Trump, Democrats are saying, we're really not going to see much movement until President Trump starts to get more involved. And they accuse Republicans of really just bowing down to President Trump and, going to his wishes. But just yesterday inside the Oval Office, News Nation actually had a reporter inside the Oval Office when he said this. Democrats have been pushing for face-to-face meetings with the president, and he sort of quashed that idea, saying no meetings will be taking place with Democrats until the government reopens. We heard House Speaker Mike Johnson also say that, saying, we can have this discussion about extending Affordable Care Act subsidies expiring at the end of the year. We can have those talks. But the government has to reopen first, and that's just not sitting well with Democrats. And it's just this back and forth, the blame game going back and forth, and it's just, again, no sign showing any sort of breakthrough yet.
Tom, I've interviewed Democrats, I've interviewed Republicans, and there is just no sense from either one of them when I say you were on the exact opposite side of this during the last government shutdown. Democrats back then were saying we got to give the federal workers their paychecks back in 2018, 2019. Now it's Republicans saying that. they've switched jerseys here, and no one seems to see the irony in this. Are you speaking to anyone who is able to say, look, these workers are not getting paid, and some of them will never get paid for this time they're being forced to take off?
Yeah, here's the thing. Welcome to the game of politics here in Washington, D.C., and you get so used to covering it. You know, when the things are in your favor, you say one thing, and when they're not in your favor, you say quite the opposite. And that's, a very real thing right here. For Democrats who are saying the timing is very essential here with all of this because they're very worried about health care prices skyrocketing for some Americans with those Affordable Care Act subsidies expiring at the end of the year. But rightfully so, this frustration of the politics and stuff like that. When I say rightfully so, the frustration with all this by everyday Americans, because, as we're hearing sort of these political statements from both sides, there's very real impacts that are happening right now. And, you brought up pay for government workers. There's a resolution that's being voted on tomorrow in the Senate that would guarantee pay for people like military members and air traffic controllers, people who are still currently working without being paid during the government shutdown. It would ensure payment of them. But here we go again with the blame game and the back and forth. Democrats say that proposal does not go far enough, and that furloughed workers who are not working currently, they should be guaranteed pay as well. So it's just agreement and compromise. It's almost like a curse word here in Washington, D.C., and we're not seeing any sort of breakthrough or progress. And I just have no idea when this shutdown is going to end.
Tom, there is some chatter of Senate GOP trying to change filibuster rules to help end the shutdown. What does that look like?
Yeah, that's the nuclear option, as it's referred to here in D.C. And, without getting into too many specifics, the filibuster basically, with that in mind, you need 60 votes to clear passage of legislation in the Senate on D.C. And that's been a rule in place for a while here. But Republicans are discussing maybe, like I said, the nuclear option, getting rid of the filibuster so it would take a simple majority, 51 senator or 50, I guess, with the vice president being the tie, but just making it a simple majority to pass a government spending bill, which would end the government shutdown. As to whether or not that's going to happen, we just don't know yet, but there's certainly chatter is very much growing with the shutdown now in day 22.
Is it? I've noticed some political prognosticators say keep a close eye on the 31st or the 1st, and there may be some motion there. Is that something you'll be keeping an eye on at least?
Absolutely, and I think that's a very big part of this. For a second, for your listeners out there, if you could just imagine being an elected leader now here in Washington, D.C., sure, it's easy to get up in front of the cameras in the early part of the shutdown and say, I'm either for this or I'm against this. It's completely different when you have people calling up your office saying that, I might not be able to afford groceries next week if you vote a certain way, or, active duty military members potentially saying or raising concerns, their families, their spouses saying, we might not get paid next week if you vote a certain way. And those are the types of voices that are only going to get louder as this government shutdown, continues going on. I believe it's October 31st, if I'm not mistaken, with the next round of paychecks that are expected to go out, and that could potentially be missed if this government shutdown continues going on. So, those voices of concern, very real concerns, mind you. Like I said, SNAP benefits potentially going away for the month of November. Those concerns are only going to grow louder as this government shutdown continues. And I think it's going to be really tough for these lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, mind you, to keep digging in and saying that, that the shutdown should go a certain way. Those voices of concern are only going to grow louder as this continues.
All right, Tom, we'll be watching for your updates. Thank you so much. News Nation reporter Tom Dempsey with us from the nation's capital.
And it's time for traffic, and we're going to pop this picture up on our YouTube feed. Sully, we are seeing this bridge strike.
Oh, my.
Oh, those are hundreds of pieces of rebar that are exposed.
It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 6 concrete girders were damaged by this. So, and look at the giant crack up above to the far left. If you could pan out there a little bit, David, up in the upper left, if you could see it, that runs all the way along the bridge deck.
Not good.
I'm no engineer, but this doesn't look like it. That overpass is going to have to come down.
Yeah.
The question now becomes, will they allow traffic to drive under it while they're waiting to do that? And my answer would be no. There's no, that's just not safe. So I've reached out to my contacts, from WashDOT about what this is going to be like. But we're going to be stuck with this for a while until that thing comes down. And my best guesstimate would be that the Bullfrog overpass will remain closed, but they'll get it open to I-90 traffic and maybe pull that down. Again, speculation based on what we've seen.
This is by Roslyn, by the way.
Yeah, right. Milepost 80. The good news is you can get right off the freeway and right back on. But the problem is with the amount of truck traffic that we see there, that's going to be a miles-long backup. Right now, today, it's about 2 miles backed up out of Cle Elum. Rest of our map right now looks relatively normal. I'll give you all the travel times in 10 minutes, but don't expect anything out of the ordinary. A full report coming up in 10. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your local favorite sports content on the FM dial 97.3 HD2.
Are you in pain? Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hi, everybody. It's John Curley. Before you make that decision, I recommend you see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I did, and it's been a game changer. My doctor took a look at my x-rays and said, well, looks like you need a whole new hip. And then he said, wait, how old are you? And I told him, and then he said, well, wait, you're too young for a hip. You're just going to have to, live with the pain. We'll see you in 3 years. It was horrible. Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures, using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Welcome to this week's Puget Sound Express Whale Report. There's a new baby in the T46B1 Biggs orca family, according to naturalists from Puget Sound Express. This youngster is the third living calf of the T46B1 matriarch, known as Tread. While humans have a 9-month gestation period, orca pregnancies last 15 to 18 months. Researchers believe this is due to the complex development and high level of parental care required for their calves. In addition to Biggs orcas, the whale watchers are seeing loads of humpbacks and minke whales in the Salish Sea right now. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers daily guaranteed whale watching tours departing from Edmonds. These half-day tours are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Puget Sound Express also offers tours out of Port Townsend. Don't miss out on your chance to see orcas and humpbacks in the wild. Family-run Puget Sound Express guarantees you'll see whales or your next trip is absolutely free. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Upgrade your home comfort and save 20% during the Bob's Heating preseason furnace sale. With great savings plus free financing on heat pumps, water heaters, generators, and more, our award-winning team has what you need to stay cozy this chilly season at a cost you're comfortable with. Voted best in the Pacific Northwest, we're honored to be your dedicated home comfort company since 1957. Call Bob's and save today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
Cancer impacts so many families, including mine. Former Washington Husky Mario Bailey here. My mother was treated for cancer at UW Medicine. As devastating as cancer is, there is hope because the Cancer Vaccine Institute is developing vaccines to treat and prevent the deadliest cancers. Patients who received vaccines over 20 years ago are still alive today. Please join me and make a donation to the Cancer Vaccine Institute at local Safeway stores. Learn more at uwcvi.org.
Hey there, Dawn Riding with Olympic Hot Tub. You know what's better than soaking every night in a saltwater hot spring spa? Knowing you got it for an incredible price during our great rebate event. Save up to $4,500 on the best hot tub you can own. Saltwater soaking, incredible savings, sleeping better, feeling better. What are you waiting for? Our great rebate event ends October 27th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Hey, it's John Curley with some great news. If your home's heating or cooling is uneven, noisy, or expensive, listen up. The Quilt Ductless Heat Pump System from Home Comfort Alliance is changing the game. It gives you room-by-room control and next-gen efficiency, so you're only heating where you need it. That means real comfort and real savings. And every Quilt system qualifies for max tax credits. Trusted for 50 years. Call the comfort people today at HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Open enrollment for Medicare is underway. Are you ready? Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man here. Get organized now with a Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit from the Insurance Commissioner's SHIBA program. Order your free copy today at insurance.wa.gov.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 8:31. There is growing concern federal immigration agents may be tapping into local police databases to gain access to license plate information collected across Washington.
Also raising huge questions about the privacy of our state's data and whether one city, Auburn, knew even how to use the technology. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with more.
Yeah, according to a brand new report from the University of Washington's Center for Human Rights, at least 8 local agencies in our state openly share data from their flock license plate reader networks with U.S. Border Patrol and ICE to help federal agents track down illegal immigrants. And they did it in the face of state law that prohibits local agencies from helping enforce federal immigration laws. The city of Auburn is pushing back, although it seems they may not have fully understood how to use the technology or how it worked. Yesterday, the city and Mayor Nancy Backus said in a statement, once they learned Flock's national lookup feature gave access through a shared national network, they immediately disabled it. No telling how much information was shared in the meantime. The report also claims federal agents have been using technology to get backdoor access to camera data. Researchers claim they found Border Patrol went into the camera networks of at least 10 other police departments that never gave permission, including the Renton Police Department from May through August. Now, Charlie, Amanda, obviously illegal immigration is an issue that is front and center. It's very politically charged. I mean, just take a look at what's happening in Portland. There's fresh video this morning of ICE agents arresting food vendors, hot dog vendors in New York City. A lot of lawmakers believe, though, Flock technology is a powerful tool for federal agents to track down people who are here illegally. This report, however, raises questions about the strength of Washington state law, if local agencies are not following it, and how transparent Flock technology really is, and whether police can fully control who sees their data. More to come on this. I'm working on a longer story for MyNorthwest.com. Hot button issue.
Luke, thank you for that. It's 8:33 now. We're just learning about Seattle mayoral candidate Katie Wilson and how she was arrested during a protest in 2013.
Jason Rance on Seattle Red 770 reports Wilson was among 13 demonstrators arrested for disorderly conduct during an anti-Walmart labor protest in Renton. Police say she blocked traffic, complied with officers, and was released at the scene. Her campaign says it was peaceful civil disobedience organized by UFCW 21. They call the arrest insignificant, but they say it reflects her values of solidarity and collective action. We previously reported Mayor Bruce Harrell was arrested in 1996 for displaying a handgun during a parking dispute in Iowa. Those charges were later dismissed.
It's 8:33. Traffic on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
Sorry, a little distracted as I'm trying to get the latest information on our bridge strike over in Cle Elum. But as I promised you 10 minutes ago, I'm going to give you the full travel times for what's happening here on this side of the Cascades. We're actually doing okay now. We're back plus or minus to where we should be with our travel times. And in fact, they're coming down in some instances. Like if you're going from Federal Way to Seattle, we're back down to about an hour and 5 minutes, 40 of those minutes from South Center. So we're thinning out a little bit up through the Kent Des Moines Road. Still kind of tough those last couple of miles, but nothing you can't handle. for you daily grinders out there. So that's pretty normal. Northbound I-405 is looking at some brake lights, but 40 minutes to get you up to Bellevue. It's pretty good. Behind that, the Valley Freeway is thinned out, even in Pacific, home of our other active bridge strike location. Wow, broken record. Looking at about a 50-minute trip from Puyallup to Renton. Across the lake, not too bad in the westbound direction. A little eastbound slowing on 90, approaching 405, and about an hour and 5 from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. So I think we're getting there. Just going to take a little bit longer, but we're doing a good job right now staying out of each other's way. This report brought to you by the Tacoma Holiday Festival, presented by Puyallup Chocolates. October 23rd through the 26th at the Tacoma Dome. Buy your tickets, holidaygiftsshows.com.
Partly cloudy for the morning hours. Still a little fog in spots. By tonight, we're going to see the rain move in, 63. Just showers for tonight and tomorrow, but steady rain moving in for Friday and Saturday. Possibly a half inch of rain on Friday, quarter inch on Saturday. Highs by Saturday will only be in the low 50s. Right now, it is 46 in Seattle.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Well, this week, a U.S. appeals court ruled that President Trump can deploy National Guard troops to Portland, despite objections from local leaders.
Prosecutors here at the Justice Department have argued that troops are needed in Portland to calm continued protests outside in an immigration and customs enforcement facility, which at times have led to violent clashes between federal agents and protesters.
Joining us now to break this down and what it could mean for the city and how the legal battle could unfold is former State Attorney General Rob McKenna. Nice to have you again, Rob, this morning. Can you explain how we got here in the first place?
Well, as you said, the Justice Department has been arguing that troops are needed in Portland because of the continued protest outside the ICE facility about 2 miles south of downtown. And those at times have involved some violent clashes between federal agents and protesters. So that's the predicate. Send troops in, protect a federal facility, similar to the rationale for sending federalized National Guard troops into parts of Los Angeles earlier this year.
So we have two situations here, right? Oregon National Guard troops, but also the president had at one time called up California National Guard troops. Are these both part of the same lawsuit, or are these separate issues?
Great question. They're related because the district court judge in Oregon ruled against the Trump administration and blocked them from sending in troops mobilized in Oregon and also troops from other states. Trump had planned to send forces from California and Texas. So this judge issued two temporary restraining orders, one blocking mobilization of the Oregon National Guard and another broader order which blocked him from sending in any troops from any other state to Oregon.
What do we know about when troops could actually be deployed?
Well, now it's a little unclear because the Ninth Circuit. Well, first, let me back up. The Justice Department appealed the first order, which blocked the president from mobilizing the Oregon National Guard. And on Monday, the Ninth Circuit ruled in the administration's favor and said no, that Trump can mobilize the Oregon National Guard. And the Justice Department, for some reason, had not appealed the second order about sending in troops from other states. So that may be stayed, although the two judges on this three-judge Ninth Circuit panel said, well, that the reasoning under the law is the same. And then what their reasoning was that there's a federal statute which authorizes the federalization of the National Guard when the president is, quote, unable with the regular forces to execute the laws of the United States. So on the other hand, the state of Oregon says, no, not so fast. Only the first order was stayed, not the second one. All of this is just temporary, of course, right? Because the question is really going to be resolved on appeal, and the issue is whether or not, pending the appeal, the administration can federalize Oregon National Guard troops or any troops to go in and be deployed around that ICE facility.
I don't have a fancy law degree or anything like that, Rob, but I got to imagine this winds up in front of the Supreme Court.
I mean, there's a good chance of that. You know, we've had a series of cases or disputes now about the president's authority to federalize the National Guard. There's also the related question of when any president can send in the regular military, regular troops who are not National Guard. And these are not new questions. We've talked before about the ICE protests in LA, where Marines and National Guard were sent in. We've talked about the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles in 92. 63 people died. The National Guard was federalized. U.S. Marines were sent in. Federal law enforcement was sent in. What we haven't talked about is another interesting precedent that I hadn't really looked into until recently, which is that President Eisenhower and President Kennedy federalized National Guard troops and sent in U.S. Army troops to Arkansas, to Mississippi, to Alabama to enforce public school and university desegregation. And that was not because there was an insurrection. It was because residents of those states were trying to block black students from entering those schools, and the presidents were able to mobilize the National Guard and send in U.S. troops to basically protect the students and get them into those schools.
That is former State Attorney General Rob McKenna here on Seattle's Morning News. And Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
Well, we're going to take a look at the heaviest drive, which is the northbound I-5 drive getting into Seattle. We'll break it down for you next.
The markets and the economy will change, but you should always know what you can rely on from your financial advisor. I'm John Ramsire with Baird Private Wealth Management in Seattle. With deep planning and investment expertise, Baird's financial advisors have guided individuals and families through changing markets for more than 100 years. And in all that time, our guiding principle has never changed. Our clients come first, always. Discover the Baird difference at rwbaird.com/Seattle.
We've got a style of play no one wants to go up against. Big hits that turn the tides in our favor. Noise that shakes opponents to their core.
That was 112 decibels in that last tackle.
Disruption is in our DNA.
It's intercepted! Seahawks ball! Interception made by Love!
Celebrating 50 seasons of Seahawks football.
Break back, throws it! Touchdown! Touchdown Seahawks!
Visit Seahawks.com/tickets today.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
I'm Chris Davis, former King County prosecutor and founder of the Davis Law Group in Seattle. If you've been injured in a crash caused by impaired or drunk drivers, there are special considerations that need to be taken to protect your legal rights. Davis Law Group's team of investigators and lawyers know how to properly investigate DUI crashes and identify all parties who might be legally responsible for your injuries and damages. Call Davis Law Group at 206-888-8888 or get my free book at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
8:43, Chris Sullivan is at the traffic desk.
Not going to say it yet, but I think we're pretty close to the high tide mark for our travel times because I'm starting to see them come back down and recede a little bit, which is good. I hope you guys do like that nautical reference. I do. Seattle is kind of a nautical town. I've been saying that for 10 or 12 years now, and I don't even know if anybody knows what I'm talking about.
But you say it.
Okay,
with aplomb,
just want to make sure it makes, I'll say it with confidence. But yeah, so we're seeing improvements. We're looking at about an hour and 5-minute trip from Federal Way to Seattle. Travel time up through South Center has improved to about 25 minutes. That's about a 15-minute pickup, so that's pretty good. By the time you hit the middle of Boeing Field on up, it's going to be the typical stuff. West Seattle Bridge caught up in this as well, heading eastbound over to I-5, but definitely thinning out from south to north. There is still some braking in both directions of I-5 right there as you get down into Fife. There might be a new crash on southbound 5 right before 70th. Checking into that one as we speak. Looking at the Valley Freeway, not too bad through Pacific and, the normal stuff in Auburn. Going to need about 55 minutes from Puyallup to Renton. So still behind schedule by a little bit, but not too bad. Renton to Bellevue is at 40. The Lake Bridges are both slow in the westbound direction. 520 more so than I-90, if you can believe it. Really heavy getting through to Portage Bay through Montlake at this point. Coming down from the north end, the heavy stuff away from Linwood. It's pretty persistent on 405 down through Bothell. For I-5, it kind of breaks free, and then you hit it again through the U District. So about an hour and 5 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. This report brought to you by Bucky's Complete Auto. 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repairs earned local trust with honest pricing, guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Buckys.com.
We're going to be partly cloudy for much of the day, but here comes the rain. Look for showers by tonight. 63 the high. Showers again tomorrow, but then steady heavy rain moves in for Friday and Saturday. In fact, there is the chance of some isolated flooding Friday and Saturday. High on Saturday, only 53. It'll be breezy, too. Right now, it's 46 in Seattle.
8:45 now. Khloe Kardashian is showing grace after a TV anchor revisits one of her most awkward interview moments. Here's KIRO Newsradio's Katrina Gishard.
On Monday, Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie expressed remorse for leaning into rumors surrounding the identity of Khloe Kardashian's biological dad during a 2012 interview.
The producers wanted me to ask this dishy question, but I didn't want to, so I let the time be running out till we were up against a hard break. So at the very end, I'm like, and Khloe, what about this rumor that Robert Kardashian's not really your father? And they were like 10, 9, 8, and I was so embarrassed.
And yesterday, Khloe wrote on Instagram, she's a doll. It takes a big person to take accountability, and I just love her.
Okay, hold on. Amanda, I have an idea.
What could it be,
Okay,
Charlie?
we've learned this from Savannah Guthrie, so it's something we can do. Whenever we mess up or do something
That never
inappropriate,
happens.
we can blame the producer.
Great idea,
David! Why did you make me say that?
Don't we already do that?
I guess I have to fall on your sword as an
Thank you. Appreciate that. Katrina, thank you. G. Scott stops by next on Seattle's Morning News.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
Well, here he is from the G and Ursula Show, airing 9 to noon on KIRO Newsradio and the Reset Podcast, with an interview with Richard Sherman up right now on mynorthwest.com. It's the one, the only G. Scott.
Hey, good morning.
Hello.
Gee, people were talking in the newsroom this morning, yesterday. Amazon is apparently looking to replace 500,000 jobs with robots.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
First, I'd like to know, why isn't this not only big news, but this should be the news that should be talked about all day, every day? And let me just get into it. First of all, it makes me mad, right? It makes me mad because it is a true reminder. And every time I talk about billionaires, people says, oh, gee, you're just hating. You're just mad because you're not a billionaire. No, that's not it. I'm mad because that I don't think a lot of people get it. Billionaires, CEOs, all of these power players, all they're doing is stacking up money at a rate that has been unseen. The world's richest 1% gained $33.9 trillion since 2015. Billionaires alone, a few thousand of those souls, oh bless their hearts, they added $6.5 trillion. Now, imagine this. Imagine hearing stories from your parents, your grandparents, about how they would wake up early and go to work and punch in the clock and do all those things, go through the grind, carrying the weight of their family. Meanwhile, something comes in and automation is just getting ready to replace you just like that. And then the top tiers, you know, the ones where they say the trickle down is supposed to happen, what do? They just keep buying yachts and big houses, and we keep hearing about all these things. We hear about Elon Musk being worth $500 billion. So while the top tier in this country continues to see all of their fortunes rise, many paychecks can't even catch up with inflation. Y'all, this ain't economics. Why do we have our heroes of yesterday, the backbone of our economy, the working class, constantly getting pooped on? Crazy thing is we had a president put a image out there of doing exactly that. So my point is this. When we start leaving our working class and our mothers and brothers and sisters and all those left behind, you cannot continue to build wealth on the backs of people and then all of a sudden leave them left behind. I know that's how America was built, but that's another topic for another day. So this whole topic of the shareholders saving costs and making money, quarterly earnings being up, just remember this. While jobs right now are concentrated at the top and the top continue to make money, and the jobs on the bottom, the working class, continue to vanish, it is the absolute worst. I apologize. Usually I don't come in here and I'm usually jokey, but this is a very serious topic and it should scare all of us.
Do you think there is a place for robots in business?
Sure. I mean, I no doubt. I do. I do think there's a place for robots, but I think I'm not even blaming the robots. I'm blaming the amount of money. Nobody should be worth $500 billion. Nobody should be worth $200 billion. That's what I'm blaming. Like, there's room for the robots, no doubt. But you know what there else is room for? There's room for the working class that has built these companies, right? And while all these companies get ready to dump all of the very people that built the companies. So we can have robots, we can have people. There needs to continue to be a place for people.
I have a million follow-up questions, and any one of them would require 5 minutes of explanation. So you know what people need to do? They need to stand by and listen to the G and Ursula show from 9 to noon.
And then tell David to give me something fun to talk about tomorrow.
We are playing Blame David now. So.
Yes, we are.
David. Sorry, David.
Look what you've done.
What are you going to do?
All right, G, thank you.
See you guys.
All right, we need to check traffic once again. We do that every 10 minutes. Sully?
Yeah, I've got more information on this new crash we have on southbound I-5 getting into the Tacoma area. It's right before 70th and Fife. The HOV lane and the left general purpose lane are blocked. Again, this is southbound I-5, so you're starting to see a buildup from Highway 18 down the hill towards Fife. So that's our one issue. It's still very foggy across the board out there, so we have some issues with visibility, but our travel times plus or minus are about what they should be. Valley Freeway about 50 minutes. The brake lights there through that Pacific area. And then Renton to Bellevue's about 40. Federal Way to Seattle about an hour. We're back down to about 35 minutes out of South Center, so we've picked up the pace there. Across the lake, I-90 looks pretty good until you get right over to past the tunnel. And then 520 is a little heavy all the way through Montlake today. Out of the north end, about an hour and 10-minute trip from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. This report brought to you by Washington 811. If you're digging in your yard, the law requires you to call 811 to avoid dangerous and costly damage. Call 811 or submit online, digsafewa.com.
Thousands of pine needles about to take flight into my backyard today. It'll be rainy and breezy, 63, and just rain through the next several days. Right now in Seattle, it's 54.
Just how much could your health insurance premiums go up under the proposed funding bill in D.C.? Well, G and Ursula will go through that coming up on their show.
You are listening to Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
You've been wiring pounds to a second wife in London.
It's not what it looks like.
And here she is now.
Sure it isn't.
Hello, darling.
Elizabeth?
Did you know our husband used a bank instead of Wise to send you money?
What an imbecile. Well,
see, even your secret wife knows that banks are slow and hide fees in overseas transfers.
Those cheaters.
If you want to send money overseas, use Wise. They're faster, and they don't hide fees.
You can save up to 70% when you send money abroad. Be smart. Get Wise. Learn more by visiting wise.com. T's and C's apply.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers. The #1 wiper blades in America.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
Open enrollment for Medicare is underway. Are you ready? Herb Weisbaum, the Consumer Man here. Get organized now with a Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit from the Insurance Commissioner's SHIBA program. Order your free copy today at insurance.wa.gov.
You can count on trusted local news and information from the Seattle Times, one of the few independent, locally owned news organizations in the country, right here in the Pacific Northwest. Subscribe today and don't miss a beat at seattletimes.com/subscribe.
Cancers impact so many, but there's hope because the UW Cancer Vaccine Institute is developing ways to treat and prevent the deadliest cancers. Learn more at uwcvi.org about patients who received treatment 20 years ago that are healthy today. You can help by donating to fight at your local Safeway.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM, and HD1.